I just bought this hybrid for Florida.
Mashallah. Yeah, don't show the license plate. Yeah,
Oh
mashallah.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah. My wife got her new Chrysler.
Yeah, mashallah, man. Tampa's beautiful, man. I've been there.
Yeah, it's nice and quiet here, man. Like look, there's
Yeah,
nobody out here, bro.
yeah, nobody. Yeah.
So is that your neighborhood? Yeah.
Yeah, this is my neighborhood in Florida.
So he's gonna track you down.
Mhm. Yeah, man, you guys are invited, man. Anytime you guys want, man. I got six
Yeah,
bedrooms.
careful, careful. Yeah, your mailbox. Yeah.
Brother Riz, if that's the case,
Yeah,
man, I'm gonna come down, bro. You got 6 bedrooms.
yeah, six bedrooms, four baths,
Assalamu alaikum, guys. Assalamu
two
alaikum.
Inshallah,
kitchens.
Hold on,
inshallah.
guys. Abdullah, Abdullah, just a minute.
Yep.
Right, God, man. We're live. Can you see America? That's America, brother Riz's house. Good to see you're back. Can you see? This is America, brother Riz's house. Never ever give the link. Yeah, don't worry, man. I got the message, bro. Got the message.
So it's my neighborhood, nice and quiet.
Yeah. What time is it in America now?
It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, about almost
Why is it
10.
so quiet? Like, it looks like no one's around.
Bro, this is how it is all day. All days like this.
Yeah,
What, that quiet?
this is the country area, basically.
Wow, man.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, like new houses being built out here, but it's just like people go to work and come back home and just go out
Yeah,
and just chill.
yeah. Akhi, tell them what city you're in.
Oh, Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa, Florida.
But when I show you Chicago, when I go back to Chicago, I'll show you how Chicago is. You
Yeah,
see a
Yeah.
Chicago's
different
crazy.
side. Yeah, you see a different side.
Yeah. Chicago's just all city. There's no outskirts unless you go out, to Illinois.
Yeah, like the
Um,
suburbs.
you're taking off the screen when Abdullah's talking. What I was gonna say was hold on. Why is the aircon machine people working for 10 hours? Did you say?
Well, the thing is that I had the AC guy here like 3 months ago, and I guess they put a smaller AC than the bigger one. And I got two floors, right? So we have a two AC unit. So they try to make some money, put a small one instead of a big one in there. So not the real guys came in and found out the issue, and it was they had to take out the whole AC unit, everything, the ducts, everything, electrical wires, and they're putting brand new electric wires and everything in there now.
Okay, okay, wow, wow, wow.
I mean, I lost a lot of money on this one right here,
All
but they've
right.
been here for 10 hours, man. Look at two trucks right here.
Okay, okay. So yeah,
But yeah, man, no, you guys are invited anytime you guys want down here. Come down here, man.
inshallah, bro, we'll come down.
Inshallah.
I was gonna say was all right.
Disney's about an hour away.
Yeah.
Don't invite. Say no to racism. There's like not destroying lives. He will troll. Don't send it. I'm not sending no links out to anyone. If let's just get one thing clear. Anyone emailing me, if I don't know you, I'm not gonna send any links out. So there's no point. I've got a few emails saying send the link, send the link. I'm not. Even Go Live Media, I sent him a reply back. I don't know if you got it. I said the only way I'll let Go Live Media in is if you, hold on. Go Live Media has sent me something. 1 second. Yeah, that's real Go Live Media. All right, Go Live Media. I'll send you a link, man. 1 minute. That is Go Live Media. I'll let him on. Let's see what's my sister Queen Jace saying as well. Salam, salam. In case you don't know who I am, the Queen Jamini on YouTube. Ah, I knew that was you. All right, Queen J. So you are. Nice one, nice one. Um, 1 second, my Go Live Media. 1 second, bro. Because no, what I'm gonna do from now on is add people. Because no one's got this link, Go Live Media. I'm just sending it to you. I'm just sending it to him, bro. Brother Abdullah might as well get another body on board.
Yeah.
That's the one, you know.
So nobody can add can come on by the via the
Nah, nah,
Google
nah.
Hangouts
Only
link.
way,
Oh, okay. Okay.
only way. I'm not inviting anyone else. I don't know who you are. Say no to racism. So I don't know who you are. So never seen
No,
you.
no, don't invite him. He's
No
definitely
way,
a
man.
troll.
No way.
Definitely, Troy. Yeah. Nice try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way I'm adding Go Live Media, I said to him, send me some screenshots of our previous conversation via
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
We
tell
need
you.
some proof from now on. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, unless you have them personally on
So
your,
Go Live Media, I sent you a link right now. Go and check. Go and check it. Go Live Media. The link is sent to you, my G. You can join it now. Side shot destroying live side can't invite you. He don't know you. Yep, that's it, bro. That's it. I wanted to do a quick one today, guys. Yeah, I wanted to play the video and do one. I didn't think, but I thought, you know what? Forget it. Look at the time as well. The troll destroyed the time today.
Yeah.
But let's see. I sent the link to go live. So just waiting for go live. But while we wait, yeah, let's just watch this video again. What I'm gonna do, guys, yeah, you know, tomorrow, brothers, yeah, around 10 o'clock, let's go live again and do a proper show, innit? You know what I mean?
Inshallah. Yeah. Yeah. We'll do
Yeah,
a proper. Yeah.
do a proper one, you know, around 10 o'clock
Yeah.
UK time. Yeah, brother Hussein, can you watch the screen now? And
Cool.
if you're gonna watch the screen and put on the screen, yeah, do this. Put your sound low as you can, and leave your
Are
phone.
you gonna share your screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. I am doing it already.
So alright, so you want me to put that mute myself, yeah?
Yeah, just mute yourself, and then as soon as the video is finished, just unmute yourself. Yeah.
Cool.
This one I wanted to show you, which was the train rain one. I don't know, you've probably seen it before, but here it is.
Ja, u bek is 10 door. Hey, 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 dale de nuevo. Dale bien duro, dale bien duro. Dale bien duro. Dale bien duro. Dale bien duro, dale bien duro.
I said I can't see it. I can just see your logo.
It's coming, bro. It's coming.
Sube, sube acá arriba. Sube, sube, toma Adrián, toma Adrián. Adrián, ven. Graba, graba. Graba, graba, Adrián, graba.
My story starts on April the 16th, 2006.
Yeah, brother Hussein, did you see that?
Unmute yourself, Hussein. You're still muted.
Hello.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like that's what I'm saying to you. I can just see your icon.
Definitely.
I can see your icon now. That's all I can see. I can't see your shared screen. That's why I said share your screen.
No, Akhi, on your laptop, when you go on his channel on the live, it was showing. You didn't see it?
Where are you watching the thing?
I'm in the room and I can see all your things at the bottom right hand corner. All your like icons and stuff. So I can see.
No. Watch his live channel. Watch it. Yeah, watch
so
it.
So you're saying open a separate window and play your video, yeah? Play your
go on the
live.
Yeah, Akhi, look. Go on his laptop and go on his channel. Yeah, go on his channel and watch the live.
I get what you're saying. Like, don't worry, I'm on it now. I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's strange because you shared things before on your screen, and I've watched it
You're
from.
doing something wrong, must be, but just in case.
Yeah,
Like
you're
that.
doing something
No
wrong.
problem, did it now?
And we don't have too much time as well.
Yeah, okay. Is it like 3 a.m. over there, Syed?
Yeah.
Holy man, it's like 10 o'clock over here.
Come on, this is take it, bro.
And plus, one thing people need to understand: there's people who say they're like software engineers, computer engineers, coming here and telling me that why aren't I an expert on the software? Why aren't I an expert on this? Why aren't I expert on that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go Live Media, I sent you a link. If you want to join it, bro, via your email.
Don't worry, I'm using a different browser because this one's taking too long, man.
So Go Live Media, do you want to join?
Can you see these? What the heck? What's going on?
We're
Who's
just waiting
14?
for Brother Hussein. We're just waiting for Brother Hussein to see my screen.
Who's 14? He's asking Go Live Media to send him the link.
Are you joking?
Don't Go Live Media, not to bother, man.
Go Live Media, yeah. Whatever happens, I know he's not gonna do that. He's not that.
No, he said I don't have it yet. Yeah, Go Live Media, don't send him anything. Yeah, I know you're not, but just in case, don't.
I have.
Don't send that guy. He's definitely a troll.
But,
yeah. You see, 14's asking now.
Syed, you got trolls on steroids, bro.
Bro, you know what it is, yeah. I don't want to accuse someone, but a troll.
But you think you know who it is?
Troll. First troll, yeah. I used the same language of a person that in a previous video they said something, but still, I don't want to say that. Someone said I'm getting brainwashed, because of what was it? Because of my cousin, bro. Do you get it? She's a Sufi. You know, she's a Sufi and all this sort of thing, and I don't agree with her. These sort of things.
Shia, you mean?
And they no Sufi. They accuse her of Sufi, Shia, everything. And because she's my cousin and stuff like that, yeah. I don't know why people coming up to me like I'm a husband or something, telling me, why doesn't she cover up? Why doesn't she do this? Why doesn't she do that? And I say to myself, why are you telling me this? Go and tell her. She goes to the park. Go and tell her. Don't tell me this. You know what I mean? So I don't know why.
Yeah, people think, basically big sister's keeper or something. I don't know.
I'm trying to get on.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like in different groups, a lot of people hating on her for some reason.
I don't know,
but I took her back a few times when I was on.
Who do you think
is? She can handle herself. I mean, she's pretty strong.
At the moment, guys. I don't want to mention the name. Brother Hussein, are you on the screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, do you know what? It takes, when I'm on Google Hangouts, for some reason, the other internet browsers are really slow. So I'm just going to go on my mobile and check it out. Cool.
Yeah. I don't know why you can't check it out.
Do your other browsers go slow when you're
No.
Okay, cool. There's a live one now. I'm on it now. Like I'm on. Let me tell the volume down. It's got a system from Nakabi on, yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Cool.
So let me go back. Let me just play this one here. So watch this one. That's the one.
What did I do? Turn my sound down. How am I gonna listen to it?
What was that?
How am I gonna?
Akhi, you mute this.
Yeah, cool.
Phone, yeah, and then turn it on, yeah.
Cool.
On your laptop and watch it on your laptop.
If you're using two devices, then you mute one. If you're using one device for everything, you don't have.
Well, I'm gonna just mute this now and watch. I'm watching, yeah. So I'm gonna mute it now.
Yeah, mute us now.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, but while he's watching, that's a crazy video.
I'm gonna start again, bro. Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's crazy, bro. I thought someone was gonna get sliced up or something. I thought someone was gonna get hit by a train right there. I was like, I'm just waiting for somebody to get hit by a train. That's North America though, right? That's Spanish.
Yeah, hold on, just watch. He's replaying the video.
Okay.
The reason I'm not saying who it is, I don't have evidence. I'm not gonna give away my sins.
Yeah, bro, I've seen it. Stop it.
My story starts.
Yeah. Boy, it's messed up, man. How do you know he's Muslim?
Huh?
How do you know he's Muslim?
The brother who sent it to me, he told me.
Yeah, but I can imagine anyway, man. They're racist, but they're Muslim.
Regardless if he was Muslim or not, he's a black. He's a black brother, you know.
Yeah, no, I think they're racist and Islamophobic. But yeah, so you know what? I'm gonna be honest here. You see, England compared to a lot of other European countries, it's not as racist. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when I hear about people from France and other places and so forth, that they have a hard time. They have a really hard time, you know. There, like there's racism here, and there's Islamophobia here, but I think it's the racism here is like indirect and undercover. You see what I'm saying? But in them countries, it's like blatant in your face. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's terrible, man. You know. And the thing is, he's with someone with a pram as well and a baby and so forth. It's like ignorance, bro.
What country was that?
That's in
Where's that
Belgium.
shot in?
Belgium, I think it was.
No wonder, yeah. Had it, yeah.
Belgium, because alhamdulillah, yeah. Like I said, even though we have it here, but much better than Europe, you know.
Yeah. Well, in London anyway. Outside of London, I don't know, but in London,
Even America, we have it, but it's more like London. It's not like Europe, you know, because it's sometimes it can be in your face, but very rarely is it in your face. It's more undercover because people here they don't want to, you know, expose themselves. So
yeah,
you know, it's
yeah.
just like London, basically. People will be racist, but it's only like on TV. You'll never see a person be racist to your face.
Indirectly. It's like,
Yeah, indirect.
so like you go for an interview or something at a job and just say, they'll be like, don't call us, we'll call you and polite and everything.
Actually, you
Yeah.
know, down south is more, it's a little bit more open. Down
Oh,
south,
in America,
down-
yeah, that's Mississippi, ain't it? That's where they used to hang people.
Yeah, well, he's in Florida, so it's around those Florida, those redneck areas.
yeah, they're a little bit more racial out here. They
Yeah.
don't deny it either, you know.
Yeah,
But
Virginia,
I think Germany's like pretty racial as well. If you go to Germany,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Them countries in Germany, I think they openly, like, people are openly running on racist political agendas and they're getting voted for, you know?
well, unfortunately, the Germans have had a history of getting too prideful for their way of life, and especially politics. And you know, they're very what you call far right. You know, they've been far right for a long time. You know, even back
Some of them, we don't want to stereotype.
not all of
but
them,
some
not all.
of
Yeah,
them.
very. I'll say very few of them. I won't say all of them because
Yeah.
you know when Trump won, I don't know if you guys know, but I was actually planning on moving to Canada, and the Canadians website was down for like almost like 2 days or something, because there was so much traffic coming onto it from America, trying to get us immigration and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how crazy it was, man. When President Trump got elected.
he just made the racism more accepted it, and he gave people a face, basically. You know, and that's why people are now getting brave to speak out. And unfortunately, even some Londoners, like that red cap whatever boy or whatever in the park,
Yeah.
he's starting to yeah.
But that's the point. Look, if you wear that red cap hat, yeah, basically what you're saying to black people is that I wish you lot were slaves again.
That's basically what he's saying. Look, they can hide it all they want. They can
Yeah.
act like they don't want that, but honestly, they expose themselves one way or the other, man.
That's what the hat says.
Yeah,
And let's make America great again.
Let's go back to times of 1940s or something.
Who was it great for? Was it great for the Indians? Was it great for the blacks?
I think
What do you mean by that?
I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Oh, you're leaving?
No, I'm talking to the AC guys. They're coming back tomorrow.
Just put
Oh,
yourself
okay,
on mute,
okay.
bro. Riz, brother Riz, put
Yeah,
yourself on
put
mute
yourself
while you're talking
on
to
mute
other
real
guys.
quick, Akhi. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
so
basically, what I'm trying to say is that time, even economically, I don't know how good it was for Americans, but I don't think it was advanced, yeah. As see, economically, I don't think, or technology wise, it wasn't advanced. I don't think as it is nowadays, even for white people. So the whole thing is when you say let's make America great
I know,
again,
bro.
back in the days,
You go on,
one it
Jamie.
wasn't one it wasn't as good for you as it is now. So why do you want to go back? You know?
you know what it is? It's not that they want to go back to those. I really think what they think is kind of like how we think about about our the glory days of Islam and stuff. Except what their problem is, they don't see that in their past they had a
People
lot
are
of
oppressed.
people who were oppressed. They had a lot of transgression. All they see in their rear view mirror basically is the olden days where people would walk by, then say hi to their neighbors, and
Brother
and
Abdullah.
meet up. Go ahead, Akhi.
Sorry to disturb you, bro. What I'm gonna do, yeah, is I got some messages to watch the Manny Cinder's show. Yeah, I'm on it now on the page. I don't know if you can see it,
Yeah.
guys. The
Let me
last,
mute.
yeah,
Oh, it was crazy, bro. It was
where,
crazy.
yeah. Let me just
Let me
watch.
mute. Let me
Let me,
mute.
yeah. So let's just watch it because this is a long one. Yeah, people are sending me bits. So let's watch this one. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Hey, Sayed.
Yeah.
Going to like the second hour. That's when it starts.
Starts what?
10 and them.
All right. Let's
The
start from.
second hour. Okay.
Yeah, the second hour.
So basically, 2 hour
So
mark. Yeah.
2 hour mark.
Yeah, 2 hour mark.
I wanted to because I heard the ending was bad. Queen J said I saw it somewhere.
Yeah, but it was a pretty short ending. So
Hold on.
yeah, start at the 2 hour mark. And you see the beginning of the start,
All right,
and
hold
then
on. All right, then mute yourself. I'll do it.
The words to make it suit themselves. Everyone. And in fact, Rob, hands down to you, my brother. You do it extraordinarily well. And you, Jay. But it doesn't change the fact that what we say is what we mean. Okay? We all know when we say the other people, we mean Islam. We all understand when we say the religion of peace, it means Muslims and Islam. We all understand that. But yet, we want to get to the point where we're having to explain everything to DL. And guess what? Nothing gets sorted. Especially action. Especially action. And I fucking hate that. You know what? It's enough now. Can we just get the problem sorted? Can we get the problem sorted? It's a free speech country. Let's have free speech. If it's not free speech country, let's not have free speech. Very simple.
Yeah, but Hassan, let's debate it because obviously James and I think Betty and I don't know, perhaps Manny don't have that view. So if they can have a good argument, then obviously, for me anyway, I've got to pay attention. I mean, perhaps you might not feel that way, but I'm on your side, obviously. But obviously, we have other people in the panel who disagree. So I want to hear if they've got any good reasons and whether they can make that argument without slipping into some kind of fallacy.
Well, look. With me, I agree with James in the sense that there's going to be some things that's going to create. You see, we're emotional beings. Whether we're
that wasn't the
in
bit.
general. I'm talking about the.
When did they start fighting then?
Let me agree with you for a second. Let's just, you know what? Just lump it. Free
topic anyway.
Okay. All right,
Let them
guys.
resolve their situation first.
Quick one for you, James. Do you think it would be useful to have like signs around Speaker's Corner that said, this is a free speech zone. Photography is part of the public. You don't have a right not to be.
Okay, I want to see the Hassan when he's saying the civil war bit. There's a bit apparently.
Great things. So next week when I go down, I will demolish his accusation about autistic people being beta males and not normal human beings by having a discussion about it. But I wouldn't be able to have that discussion unless he said it. So I'm glad he said it. So well done, Jedi, for showing your.
All that is that damn fucking bitches. So do something.
Are we gonna?
Go back. You're saying to go back. The guys are saying.
say that.
And go back.
Even if it were true, why would you
hour.
say that?
Because it's a factually true statement, James. If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, Rob,"
I thought you
that
said
would
the
be the
2 hour
first.
mark. The fight.
He's just been ejected.
Oh, here we go.
Anyway, they're having a.
Here we go.
You tell him, Dan.
The fact that somebody can write something whether it's gibberish, it doesn't matter. The fact that it's been written and it means that that person can write it. They don't have to be able to speak English perfectly.
I think he wrote it because it's gibberish, and that's how he speaks. It's gibberish.
Thank you very much.
And he doesn't give a shit about anybody. He said that. So we're going to follow someone who doesn't give a shit about anybody.
I give a shit about 2%, but everyone else I don't give a fuck.
So
Vote for a politician that says they don't care for shit about anybody.
What are those two people?
You don't need to know.
Lucy's one of them, I'm guessing.
That's not a guess. That's a definite. That's not even a guess.
And he's got to care about himself, so that's everybody.
No, he doesn't. So it's Lucy and somebody else. We need to pick the second person. Is.
Rob, did you want to come in?
Guys, we've got 500 likes and 500 people watching and 58 people liking. Now, seriously, get your rat fingers on either the dislike button or the like button. Come on, guys. Press up
we're going to stay silent. We're going to stay silent. Start hitting those like buttons.
We will go silent now. Because you know what? That's disgusting.
Until it hits 150, silence. Well, obviously, that's a bit much. But start hitting the button.
Shut up, you pigeon. Dirty pigeon, shut up.
Has it even changed? I was gone 78. Well done. Come on. Don't let the jihadis win. Yeah. Don't let the jihadis win.
I love the way Rod says that word. It's so good.
Jihadis, the mujahideen.
He really does have the eyes of a pigeon.
Jihadis.
Shotgunners are coming up at 45, guys.
Come on. Don't let people with rat fingers beat you. Don't let people with rat fingers beat you. And IQs of 50. Come on.
You need to do what Callum does and like support.
Come on, do it.
Right, say it, right? Look at his eyes.
Come on. It's nearly there. Come on. Let's get to 100 at least.
He really looks like a pigeon.
Yeah.
2 more.
Hold on.
That's not funny. That's not funny.
I can't wait until I see you on the street, fam. I swear to God, I can't wait. You know what?
Hey, Hassan, come on.
You can shake my hand, no problem.
You are scum of the earth, bro. You know what?
You can shake hands, no problem.
And make a friendship, and they can go behind someone and say, yeah, you know what? Drop him. You know what? You know what that person's called in my life? A shitbag, bro. That's what you are. You're a fucking shitbag, you cunt. You know what? You still got the audacity to open your fucking little mouth. I'm so happy they are fucking you up in South Africa, bro. How's that for free speech?
Oh my God, come on, Hassan. Manny, come on.
As soon as you get emotional, you just start babbling.
Oh, go fuck yourself, mate. I'm a Cuban. I'm meant to have emotions, you dumb fuck.
But
what are you, a robot?
Because now we can see
were you made by Mitsubishi, bitch?
To ignore Hassan.
Made by Mitsubishi, bitch. Were you made by Mitsubishi, bitch?
You know, he's having an emotional response, so it's not a problem. It's a good exercise, actually.
Gentlemen, come on, let's get back to the conversation. We don't, you know.
And you've obviously proven me right that you don't have anything
in
front of you beyond babbling.
So you know what? What I proved is that I was born, I was made in my mother's womb. Well, you proved that you were made by Mitsubishi, bitch.
Keep talking. I mean, you're just proving my point.
All right. I was made by parents. You were made by Mitsubishi. That's what we proved.
Yes, of course. Yes. Now come back to earth. Come back to reality.
Fucking little bitch. I'm glad. You lose everything in South Africa, bro.
Some of the fruits.
Control it.
Did you lose everything in South Africa? Tell me you did. I beg you.
Gentlemen.
Let's get back.
Your wife got raped as well.
Gentlemen.
Come on.
And your kids got hacked.
That's not funny.
They don't like it all of a sudden.
That's not funny.
Yeah,
I want to be funny. I want to be savage.
You keep using that. That's not funny.
You tell him, Ken.
Okay.
You need to apologize for that, Hassan, man.
Start with me. You start with me. You'll know
Hassan, please. Okay, let's just keep it to order and we can sort this out later on. I believe Rob was due to ask Tan something, so if you can go ahead with that, please.
I think Tan's gone.
Has Tan gone, Hassan?
Yeah, get Rob off, mate. You know what? I'm going to be attacking him all day, bro. Just get him off.
No, you can
please, man, please. You can't say what you said, man.
Fail miserably. So go ahead, do your best.
Go fuck yourself. Go to your show. Promote that boring ass show that you got. That you go around all talking all intellectual and logical. And guess what?
Yes,
everyone's patting each other on the back and sucking each other's cock.
We don't want intellectual and
it's the best way to approach it. You know what? Brain has got its certain functions.
Yes,
but
it
sometimes,
does.
you know what?
Correct.
You need to
It
let
does.
emotions do the work. And unfortunately, for you,
Yes, it does
emotional
have use.
bastard, you can
And
go
we're
fucking
alongside
do
some
one.
It's
younger
coming.
people like you.
Shut
I
up.
think we
You
know
look
where
Why
we're
weird.
does
going.
it want Rob off? What happens to freedom of
Hassan,
speech?
Hassan,
Your wife
Hassan,
didn't get raped.
I can talk all day,
Hassan.
Good
Hassan.
man.
I'm immune to you.
Just Hassan, you're going over the top here.
Say that again.
Man, get out of the way.
Say that again. Say that again. I'll just say that
Look at
again.
that. It's like there's a gun on you. Look at that face. Look at that face.
Alrighty then.
Oh Lord! Oh Lord! What the hell went on?
Betty's laugh is just crazy.
That was like the Blair Witch Project.
Well,
Oh no!
Manny,
What's
Manny,
going
I've got to hand it to you, Manny. You do drama is nobody does drama like this channel. I can
Are you not entertained?
I know.
I've just laughed straight for 10 minutes.
Jackie Chan.
What's happening?
My stomach is killing me from the laughter.
What's happening though?
Is it the drink? Is the drink flowing today or something?
Well, some drugs or
What's
something.
happening? The whole thing's gone weird. I can't see anything.
Who's eating? Who's eating, man?
Raj,
Can I
you
hear
love
you?
drama. You're a
Can I
drama
hear
I know,
queen.
I can't see nothing.
Reveling in this shit.
I can't see anything, so how can I revel in it?
Assalamu alaikum.
My computer's
salam.
stalled.
Sorry, guys,
I'm
I'm-
Stone Age bullshit computer. It's broken down.
Just a minute, go live.
Okay, let's lighten the mood. Raj, are you going to pay the jizya?
No, but what just happened?
Let's wait for Hassan to come back on. Oh, Hassan is back on. Now listen, everybody needs to listen to me. I'm going to be moderating this now because he's not getting anywhere. So please respect the channel and respect the audience so we can get some informative information and conversations out there. So for the final time, Rob, please go ahead and ask your question to Tan. We have him on screen.
Yeah, Tana, you said you're searching for the truth, and I wanted to understand what you understand by truth. I mean, really, what I want to understand is, can I have some sort of intellectual conversation with you, or is it all sort of rhetoric and more to get views? Pretend you're speaking to me and not to other people, and maybe you can have that conversation with me.
So you want to
Sorry, I can't hear you. Mate.
You want to have a one-on-one conversation with me? Is that what you're asking?
Well, not like a one. I'm just part of the panel. What I really wanted to understand is what do you understand? Because you said you're in search of, and you're looking for, or you're going for truth, and I wanted to know what you understand by truth. What do you mean by truth?
The truth is something that is a process. The truth is a process. You keep seeking the truth.
Give me space.
Stop pushing me.
Don't come close to me. Go sit down. Yeah.
Because you can't listen. The truth is something that you always have to keep seeking it.
Yeah, but you know, most people understand the truth. Oh, it's gone again. Never mind. Okay, Manny, never mind. I don't think we'll get anywhere there. They're having a
domestic.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Can I just say something? Look,
Tan is capable of having some sort of intellectual conversation. At the moment, I'm not convinced he is, but I could be mistaken.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
I don't. You're the one that's going on that. See, this is the thing that's been changed. You've been changed. I hope she gets raped. Go for it. You want to see Tan get?
Who get raped?
Who? Go on.
Who get raped?
Go on.
Who get raped?
Go on.
Who get raped? Who get raped?
Go on.
Who get raped?
They're all putting this on. This is all the show.
Who get raped? Who get raped? Say that again. Who get raped? Who get raped?
Go on.
Who get raped? Who get raped? Tell me who get raped. Tell me who get raped. Who get raped? Who get raped? Who get raped? Who get raped?
Did I miss
Who
something?
get raped?
Don't say nothing because I want to see what's going on.
Who get raped? Say that again. Repeat the fucking sentence. Who will get raped? Who will get raped?
Take your dad.
Fucking piece of shit. Fucking piece of shit.
Your dad is staring.
Shit.
The hell?
Well, anybody else want to fill in the gaps?
Why can't
nothing
Hassan
I won't
say what he
masturbate
wants?
to? That's what I
Freedom
was
of
thinking.
speech.
All
Freedom
right.
of speech.
I just hope. Look, Hassan, if you're listening, You went past the level of what I think is acceptable
Hassan's
behavior.
back. Hassan's
Right,
back.
Hassan is done. Now he's done.
Yeah. Guys, alright, I paused it. I'm gonna bring it near there. You guys wanna come in? Brother
Yeah,
Hussein.
I mean, that was just, amazing. Go
Like
ahead,
I,
Hussein.
like I said, this video refutes their claim that freedom of speech is a reality. It's dead. What you've been saying all this time. Tan says nigger, he says monkey, he says Prophet was a pedophile, Sallallahu says Salam, and yet he just lost it over what Hassan said
Still
there.
live media, where are you? Are you still there? Or is he gone?
He's muted. He's there though.
Is he there?
Yeah, his icon's there.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I'm still here, bro. I was eating pizza, innit? So I just muted it so you don't hear me eating.
Oh, okay, cool, bro. No
Okay,
I'm going back. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back. Yeah, cool. I'm just gonna finish eating and that.
Yeah. Guess what? Yeah, my cousin wants to come online as well. Yeah, so be ready.
Oh, bro, you know what? I can't be bothered to do
No.
immature arguing, bro.
You know what, bro? You know what? I told her not to do none of that stuff on my channel as well. I told her that. But anyway, go on. Don't worry.
Because look, yeah, cool.
Stay. Don't worry. Nothing like that. Anything like that. I told her not to anyway. But go on, brother Hussein. You finish eating, bro. You finish eating.
Yeah, so what I said basically is that this video just proves their things. Obviously, when you say things, hold on, he's still on. Someone's still on. Okay, so basically, when you say things about people's loved ones or things that are close to their heart, like people's wives, children.
Brother Hussein, can you stop for a second, brother?
Why?
Akhi, hold on a second. Caponi, Sohrabi, or whoever you are. Are you for serious, bro? It's 3:31 a.m. Are you saying we're gonna miss Fajr? Are you for serious?
Why are you here then? If we're gonna miss Fajr, why are you here? If we're gonna miss Fajr, why?
It's Fajr time now.
That proves that he doesn't know when it is.
What the hell, bro? Subhanallah, this guy's man.
No, he's just. I don't think he's a Muslim. Even.
That shows, bro, how much of Salah 5 times Salah person you are. Anyway, go on, brother Hussein.
Yeah, so what I'm just trying to say is that obviously, look, they finally got our point. Our point is that certain things are love to certain people, and certain things are important to people, and you can't talk any way about it because it offends them. So, that's it.
I know, but what I was gonna say, what's his name, man? Hassan. I don't know if I could find that bit or not. But bro, towards the end of that stream, yeah, he was saying like he was going mad. They were talking about the empire and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was saying our Muslim countries signed some petitions. Signed a contract. Sorry, signed a contract. So because the atheist James, he was saying, but Hassan, we the empire and the British or whatever, we mess everything up in the Muslim countries and then we leave them. He was saying that, and Hassan didn't like that. He goes, no, the Muslim countries signed a contract because of petrol and all that sort of thing, so they deserve it. And then he goes,
how does Hassan know anything? How does Hassan know anything? Which political meeting was he last in?
There you go. So then he goes, what was it? Then he goes, what was it? I can't remember. Some people are saying mic is low. Sorry guys, you have to bear with it, man, until I get my new mic. So then he goes, F all that stuff. And then he was talking about a race war, bro. We need to, we have to sort it out. We have to get band together and get on the street. Bro, what like these guys are trying to start a race war.
But this is not real, bro. This is not real life. He's not gonna do anything like.
They said I had a talk with him last night, right? Because he was on RASPEX show after that fight happened.
Okay.
And so I asked him. I was like, look, why do you hate Islam, or why do you hate Islam? He's like, well, he's like, let me tell you, because we all thought it was gonna be a personal issue, right? He was like, no, it's not personal. It's not personal. Well, guess what he said? He said when he became atheist, his parents denounced him. His mother said she doesn't want to talk to him anymore. The family just denounced him, and he was on his own. So for 20 or 30 years, he hasn't talked to his mother and father. So of course that's why he's blaming
Yeah,
Islam,
it's
right?
emotional. It's emotional
Yeah,
problem.
emotional. So then I asked him, I was like, so that's not Islam. That's more a cultural, emotional issue because your parents stopped talking to you because you became atheists. Some parents don't stop talking to their kids when they become atheists, and they try to work it out and see them trying to bring them back. But I was like, why are you bringing Islam for it? So then he started judging people in speaker's corner. He's like, well, look at all the Muslims in speaker's corner. So then I was like, wait, I thought first of all you hate Islam because of what your mother had to choose between you and Islam, and now you're blaming the Muslims in speaker's corner. So which one is it? So he was like, well, all of it. So I was like, so you don't hate Islam, you hate Muslims. He was like, yeah, I hate Muslims. So then I was like, why you keep saying that you hate Islam then? You're just
Because
contradicting yourself.
most converts who leave Islam, or I'm sorry, apostates who leave Islam, most of them leave because of emotional reasons. Every like ex-Muslim I've heard his argument, almost all of them I've heard is only emotional. It's nothing to do with facts, nothing to do with anything to do with the religion. It's always having to do with emotional. So like if it's something that they can't, they try to fit into a certain society or something like American or British society, or maybe they choose a certain way of life which is not fitting to Islam, then they blame Islam or the Muslims for that. And if his parents did kick him out or disown him, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm willing to bet it's not just because of him leaving. It's probably his life choice, if you know what I mean. So the guy is, clearly, he's spiraling out of control. I mean, they're always people like that. They have a volatile nature. Like you could see it at the end. When they start speaking a lot, you could see now he's, his own speech is kind of backfiring on him. That's what always happens. People who choose that lifestyle of, freedom to take all these, these certain pills or whatever he's taking, and what they do is most of them who choose this lifestyle, they leave Islam because they know if they stay in Islam then they're going to be contradicting themselves. So what they do is they leave Islam and choose a different lifestyle, so that way they don't have to maintain themselves as a certain religion. You get me? Because they know if they stay in that religion, then there's always going to be that guilty conscience inside of them telling them, hey, you're doing something wrong. But if they leave the religion, then they can say, hey, I can do what I want now. I have no barriers, It's like a defensive thing. So this guy, man, he clearly he's spiraling out of control. They're all spiraling out of control. You can see what they're doing. I mean, they fight amongst each other. No one has to talk to them. They just go on the live stream and they fight amongst each other, because that's what their thing is. Their division between, they're trying to divide other people and unite amongst themselves on division. But all they're gonna do is divide themselves, because that's their main thing, is division. Division just breeds division, man. And that's all. That's what I have to say.
You know what?
Their
friendship is based on the hatred of Islam.
Exactly, that's why Allah says
that's
in
the
the
only
Quran,
thing.
you think they're united, but their hearts are divided. So they always, because they want to divide other people, they're always going to be ending up dividing amongst themselves. That's their problem. They don't realize that. They're always going to be, like, you can see Tan's nature. I mean, I know people like, I've seen people like that, who are very volatile, and they're very arrogant, and their arrogance overcomes them. So to the point where they start cursing their own, supposed friends, Then he's just going to be, that's what's going to happen. They're not loyal. There's no loyalty between them. They're very arrogant, and they think of themselves as, each one of themselves as their own king. So what's going to happen is, they're gonna be infighting within themselves, They're gonna think, hey, who is the alpha male? Who has the alpha position, That's what Tan's doing. He's gonna fight with Hassan. Hassan's gonna fight with him, and then some of them are gonna fight with each other. It's just gonna look bad, honestly, on them. So that's why.
Inshallah, they'll all fall down. It's like in the Battle of Ahzab.
Exactly.
Do you remember the Battle of Ahzab, where the enemy forces were all weary of each other, and the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sending one Sahaba in the dark to sow discord amongst them, and they all just fell down and went home. And it's clear to see, putting these little tadpoles aside, people like Tommy Robinson, the DFLA, there isn't no unity amongst them. And like you said, you quoted the Quran. Their hearts are disunited, and the enmity between them is greater than ever. And Allah is the best of planners, and they will fall, inshallah.
Yeah, man. They're not honestly. They're not really providing a great front. To be honest with you, they're not
No,
exactly
but
the A team. They're not exactly you know the super team. You know, super friends or something. They're just a couple of low lives. Scums of the earth who can't find anything else to do except speak their opinion on YouTube, and they only want to cause division. They never want to unite people, and what they're gonna end up doing is just preaching division. That's it. That's all they're doing. They just want division and they want hate towards certain groups. That's it. So they're just gonna be hating amongst themselves. They're always gonna find something wrong with each other. They're gonna find, just like Hassan said. You heard Hassan. Ironically, these people talk about what's going on. We are against this. We're against that. We're against the little women, little girls or something getting abused, and that's right. But look what happened. He just contradicted himself. He just told Tan or something. I hope your whatever gets. I don't want to say, but I hope she gets raped or whatever. That shows that person is, they don't really care about what they're preaching. They're just using it as a front. They don't really care about women. They don't care about other.
It's pretty despicable.
Yeah,
I guess
sad.
Even though Tan is a madman, he did have a point in that regard. Free speech, the way they use free speech was never to insult someone's family or say lewd, disgusting things. It's always been utilized by these fascists to spout their usual strategy. It's been happening for decades. It's nothing new. Hitler did it with the Jews. They do it in Europe with the immigration.
And it was always seen as irregular. It was always seen as not decorum. It was
the funny thing is, it's always the same thing. It's always these guys are raping your white women. It's the same thing they did to the blacks in the 60s. After they came out of slavery with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and you had black people getting lynched everywhere, it was the same rhetoric that they published in their newspapers. These black guys are raping our women. Hitler said the same thing about the Jews. Now they're saying it about the Muslims. They're like, wood lice. They just crawl out from under their rock. They've always been there, and they come out all of a sudden, like, you know what I mean? But the scary thing is, on a larger scale and on a bigger level, unfortunately, you even have, mainstream government using this rhetoric. I don't know whether you've seen it in the UK politics or not. A lot of Conservative MPs and councillors, even Labour councillors, have started saying Islamophobic things because they know that there's an underlying fear in the British public of Muslims, and with what the media has put forth for the last 10 years. And it is actually going mainstream, and that is the scary bit. So, before we could just say they're a bunch of, miserable miserable lower life, pawn scum on benefits, and always angry about someone else taking their jobs. That was the case before, but the problem is now you even have academics, even though Anne-Marie Waters, who's a proper Islamophobe, who the For Britain Party, and she campaigns against Sharia courts and rides the whole Islamophobic wave. She's a graduate out of Oxford, so you're even seeing academics from high-level universities coming out targeting Islam and going on the right-wing rhetoric as well. So we don't really know what the future holds. I hope it's good, because the way it's going, like, even the governments are picking up on this narrative now, and that's the scary bit.
Yeah, it's true, man.
But the thing is, is what you have to do is just get on with our life, because the thing is, at the end of the day, unless we're going to make hijrah, you have to be in this country. So the whole thing is that we just got to get on with what we can, put our hands out, people taking shahada and so forth. But
Alhamdulillah.
Well, I don't know what they're gonna do, because unless they try and ban Muslims from school and stuff like that and so forth. But I don't know, may Allah aid the Muslims, man.
I mean, but yeah, the way things are going, it's kind of hard to tell. It's like, I've got a few daughters, and they're almost at the age of wearing hijab, and 8, 9 years old. I want to put a hijab on them, and Ofsted have actually put a clause in with their education regulations that any child under the age of 8 or under, if they wear a hijab, they're going to get questioned on why they're wearing it, and it could be a possible sign of radicalization, and you could have prevent at your door just for putting a hijab on your 8-year-old daughter.
But look at that. So why is it? That they, if they think that way, why isn't it when the girls are going to school in England, which is not a tropical warm country, and they've got their mini skirts up to their their thighs, yeah. Like, isn't that extremism too? Why are girls dressing like they're going pole dancing or bloody stripping, and they're going to every single one of them?
Very good point, bro. Very good
Why-
point.
why
I
is-
actually had my wife actually told me today when she was taking the kids to school, she was seeing year 7s and year 8s, you know, in miniskirts and stuff, and she actually saw the bus driver just keep looking back and looking at their miniskirts. And the discussion I had with her is, in this westernized, sexualized society, it's almost like they objectify women, and all of these girls, they're just preparing them to be those British women that have girlfriends and boyfriends, get used in marketing, pass the parcel woman. And I was thinking maybe in the next 10, 20 years, they might even reduce the age of consent themselves. That is the way it seems like it's going.
I had a discussion with my wife about the same situation. I told her at 6th grade she's going straight to homeschooling. It's a big percentage. Like 70% of the people out here go to homeschool now, or kids go to homeschool, and it's actually better than public schools. Because what you do is, math, science, and English is probably the most important part in a child's education up to high school. After that, in college, of course, you go towards your degree. The other, like, PE, sex ed, and all these other extracurricular activities, art that they teach in school, you actually don't need that in your career. So what I want to do is, my main goal is at 6th grade. She socializes a little bit, up to 5th.
Yeah.
6th grade, she does homeschool, and I teach her the basics. But then I teach her if she wants to become a doctor, get her some biology courses, chemistry courses, something that's going to be towards her career path that she wants to take. And what happens, eventually when she gets to college, she'll be at that point where she knows what she wants to do, and she's not lost. But you have that education that she's needed, to go towards that type of a degree.
Inshallah, bro. Inshallah.
Public schools, man, it's not funny, man. I mean, they got bullies, they got racist people in public schools now, kids that are learning from their parents, racial slurs. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on, and it's not good.
But there's one thing,
yeah.
The thing is that this country, like, it's all well good having Wi-Fi, and it's all well good having a good transport system and stuff like that. But the problem is that when you don't have no morality, things look good on the outside, but internally things are going to mess up. Because what's happening? Look, nowadays, generally in this society, no one knows who their father is. Like, the vast majority of kids growing up nowadays do not know who their father is, because kids are not planned. They happen as a result of, like, one night stands, or girlfriend and boyfriends who weren't expecting a baby and so forth, so they get aborted and this, that, and the other and so forth. Like you said, the girls are going to school in like mini skirts and this, that, and the other and so forth, and they're dressing like sexual objects. So guys are just sleeping with them and abandoning them and so forth. So the whole thing is that at the end of the day, and also if you don't have 2-parent families, that leads to the child growing up with no father figure, no discipline, and leads to crime and so forth. So the whole thing is that crime is going up, sexually transmitted diseases are going up, drug abuse is going up, and so forth. So the whole thing is yes, they're in a first world, quote unquote, but the society is falling apart, and that's why Islam's the answer. Because the reality of the situation, church, it's a quote unquote Christian country, but the ideology to the average person of the Trinity and stuff, it just doesn't make sense. So most kids, they go to church until like teenage years, and then they just leave and they never go back. This is a problem. They're gonna think that with this absence of God and this secular capitalist society, and also music pushing out YOLO, that you only live once, all the evil is increasing. All the evil is increasing. The robberies are increasing, and even their image of what life is about. Their image of what life is about. To make it, you're supposed to have the big house, with the driveway for 2 cars, and a big garden. Even people with 2 degrees now can't afford that. Like they can just about get on a mortgage, credit list and so forth. So what's happened is that people are told that the purpose in life, is go school, then go college, then get your degree, yeah, and so forth, and then get a nice house and this, that, and the other, and then you've made it, you've succeeded. But people are not even meeting the dunya criteria for life. So they're thinking, I'm a failure, like I'm a bummer, I'm nothing. Then crime is rising up, you know what I'm saying? You know, there's no more families and all this stuff. So what happens is that a person just becomes lost, and they just think, like, what is life about? And that's why you find so many people who working like Canary Wolf or this, that, have committed suicide. That's why you find so many like women are aborting their children and stuff like that, because it's like it's just hopelessness. And that's why, alhamdulillah, this thing with Iman, yeah, it gives you sanity, and with the salat, it gives you sanity that you can guide your way through this. But and that's why so many people are taking shahada, you know.
Yeah, inshallah, bro. Inshallah, man. That happens. But you know what you're saying about making hijrah, bro. If I could make hijrah, I so would, man. Even if it was somewhere like Turkey, even though they're like a secular, democratic so-called society, there's more Islam there. Do you know what I mean? You'd hear the adhan, and somewhere where there's Muslim manners and people treat each other good. It's that whole. We just don't have that here, and it's like the Muslims here. We've become like them in a sense. It's like when you go to masajid and you go masjid and you pray, you don't feel real brotherhood anymore. Would you say that's true? Would you say?
I say it depends on the masjid. Unfortunately, the problem is that with the masjids here is that a lot of them are run by the old uncles, and what is sad about the uncles is that some of the uncles in the masjid, yeah, that they're there for every prayer, they do everything, they're like robots. And I don't mean in a bad sense, but they're sunnahs, they're part of the furniture of the masjid, they're there all the time. But the problem is that they got this kind of backwards view that there's a gap between me and the youth, and that basically the youth, if they want to pray in the front line, one, you shouldn't be here because boy, it's for the older for the older uncles here, yeah. And also there's a bit of racism and so forth. And the thing is that so what is that like the way that they're creating, the reason why the brothers not like that in a lot of masjids is because the uncles, I don't know, they've got a disconnect. They got all the worship, but they got no rahmah. So what happens is that when the youth goes to school to learn Quran, it's like, learn it or I'm gonna beat you. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, we've all been there, bro. I don't know about how it's been like for black people and that, yeah.
Yeah,
for a South Asian, like a Bengali or a Pakistani, being taught Quran when you were smaller, you just automatically, it will come with beats, almost like you were immune to the beats. And like it didn't even bother me, to be honest. These days, you got an imam that hits a child with a stick once he goes to school and tells the teacher, and the imam's doing 10 years in jail, man. That's just ridiculous.
I know, but the thing is, the imam.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Sorry to interrupt, bro, but I just want to say that. Yeah, like what I'm trying to say is that the imam, but the problem is that you see the imam. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Parents shouldn't be able to be reported, or teachers shouldn't be reported for anything and then get arrested for a long time because there needs to be discipline. But what I'm saying is, when all you know is discipline and all you know is harshness, and kids, the masjid is supposed to be a place that the kids, when they're growing up, because they had a good experience here when they were going masjid when they were young and stuff. Because at the moment, the masjid to a lot of youth, yeah, not all mosque, yeah, but some masjids, they're the most hated place to a youth. So the thing is, when they grow up older, like the masjid should be a place that a person who's not, I'm not saying, I don't want anyone to twist my word, but anyone who's out there in a gang, bunning, a sister that's had abortion, or a sister that's, like got a boyfriend, all this like the masjid after your home should be the place that you want to chill out the most, like, and food that you can just go there, yeah, and just, I'm saying, just chill out and no one's gonna have a go at you and so forth and that. But because of this old uncle, teaching kind of stuff, like hard teaching, which is not from the Quran and Sunnah and stuff, the masjid, like once they leave that school and then beatings and so forth, the last place they wanna go, yeah, the masjid. So they'd rather hang out on a council estate with people smoking weed and drinking alcohol and checking girls go past than listen to tunes and stuff.
That's the thing, Akman. Chilling out in a masjid is very difficult in many scales. In one way, you've got the elders who are just running the masjids, yeah. Then you've got mosques that only open their doors at prayer times, and you know, with the Maktaba Salafiyya type people, they don't, you know, when you go to Masjid al-Nabawiyah here and there, everywhere, they don't really like people hanging around in the masjid. They're like, you've done your salah, go home now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Can I ask a
No, but I
question?
would disagree. Go like me though. I'm a brother who consider myself Sunni Salafi and so forth. I took my shahada like in a Salafi masjid, like in Brixton and so forth, that is run by reverts and stuff, so forth. Yeah, and because they're reverts and they're from the streets and so forth, the way the masjid is that it's left open for people and youth to come in and this, that, and the other and so forth. So the whole thing is, it depends on the people who are running a masjid. And what it is that this is what I've noticed as a Muslim. Sorry, Jeff, I know you want to come in. I'm going to wrap up.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Sorry, I apologize. Yeah.
Okay.
I've noticed this, that for some reason, not everyone, not educated brothers who seek deen, yeah, but I've noticed that men, the perception of a man, yeah, in this country we have a very bad perception of man. A perception of a man is someone who's, I'm not talking about you, bro, or anyone. I'm just saying that we're told that as a man, you're defined by how many material things you have, how hench you are, how much money you got, and how many girls you slept with. Yeah, these are the main things that a man is someone that has bare money, slept with bare girls, big, what is it, and what's the other thing? Like, it's harsh, yeah. So what I would say is that a lot of fathers think men and Muslim fathers, and I would say to them, to the Muslim fathers, alhamdulillah, Islam blesses you because non-Muslim fathers are generally not around. Like, if you go to a council estate and you ask non-Muslim people, like, do you know your father? Like, kid, do you know your father? 9 out of 10 of them are going to say no.
Brother Riz, can you mute your mic? Because I can hear you breathe. Go on, brother.
Yeah. So what happens is that if you go to, when you take the two types of father, you've got non-Muslim father and Muslim father. What you find with the non-Muslim father, because of this YOLO life, you only live once. Men are abandoning their children and then they're generally never in life, 9 out of 10, yeah. What I find with Muslim fathers, and this is not from the deen, is that their perception from abroad that of a father is that as long as I provide for my kids, yeah, especially sons, yeah, I don't have to tell you I love you. I don't have to tell you I care about you. I don't have to tell you you're special and or show any emotion to you whatsoever. And this is a problem because the Prophet ﷺ one time he was this goes against the Prophet's way, because one time the Prophet was playing with his grandchildren Hassan and Hussein, yeah, and a man came along and I think he was coming for a job or position or something, and the Prophet was playing with them and kissing them and so forth. So the man said, he said, you kiss your sons? He says, I have 11 sons, yeah, and I don't kiss any of them. So the Prophet he replied to him and said, well, if Allah's taken the rahmah out of your heart, yeah, I can't put it back in, yeah. So this perception that we got, and I don't know where it got from, because generally by Muslim fathers, they're hard workers, they work long shifts, you know what I'm saying? They're always working and stuff like that. But the relationship between them and their son is very messed up, because it's like the son never gets any affection or any I care about you, I love you, you're important to me, no hugs, no kisses. It's like that's seen as a sign of weakness. And just to end, that's why you find many Muslim boys from affluent families that are selling drugs, even though they don't need the money, yeah, or joining gangs. It's like they come from a 2-parent family, their father's wealthy, everything is paid for, but they're out in the streets. And why? Because if you don't give the child love inside the home, they're going to seek outside. And I apologize for going on for so long.
Go on, my American brother.
Alexander.
Where are you going?
Hey,
I finished because I was speaking for that long. So
I think Brother Hassan is absolutely right when it comes to Hussein is absolutely right when it comes to fathers, and the children. Like for example, I mean, my dad worked a lot, but there was one thing that we always made sure was that, you know, family nights out, vacations, our parents, you know, will take us to the masjid together. And I try to do the same thing here. I mean, I literally watch my kids grow working from home, like their first steps, their first talking, taking them to school, helping them with homework and stuff like that. Their first masjid visits.
Brother, just a second, bro. I just want to address something. Yeah, in the live chat, guys, Mohin Khan or whoever it is, he goes to me, buy a laptop and buy another one as a backup, an expensive laptop, and buy an expensive mic. He goes, buy an
bro, he's just a troll, man. He's winding you up, bro. He's got about 20 accounts, bro. He's gonna come back in a minute after another account, bro.
Yeah.
Why do you know him? It's an important subject. You know him because he wants attention.
I don't know what it is.
But the thing is that
Okay. So start again, please, Jeff. Start again because you were saying.
So like I'm saying, I mean, like my wife, alhamdulillah, like
guys, block him when you see him.
She prays 5 times a day. My brother-in-law's an alim. He teaches the children, Quran with tajweed online. And but the thing is that Brother Hassan is right. The kids have a better understanding on respecting others. They know about Islam, and they're very, alhamdulillah, when my kids go to other people's homes, people are like, wow, your kids say salam to every parent. I mean, you don't see kids saying salam to the elders when they walk into the house anymore. You see them on the iPads, on the phones, not socializing, not talking about anything. And then and you see that reflection because, parents are nowadays, they go, hey, you know what? I'm busy. Here's an iPad. Go sit over there and watch YouTube. Or, hey, you know what? Why don't you guys go sit over there? Here's my iPhone. Go play this game, There's no socializing going on at the dinner table. Everybody's watching their own iPad or cell phone. There's no talking across the table.
So true, my brother. And they pick it up at such a young age. They just go into their room.
We were playing outside. We were playing cops and robbers. We did bad things, good things, but we were always outside, man, getting dirty, going to the masjid, socializing at the masjid. And Brother Hassan's absolutely right about that too. A masjid is a place where communities come together to meet other Muslims. You know what I'm saying? When you're new in the neighborhood and you want to meet other Muslims, you go to a masjid. When you have hardship or you need family guidance or marriage guidance, you go to a masjid and ask Imam for help. But my question was that in the UK, what is the age, an average age of an Imam or like an Imam at the masjids? If you guys could tell me.
The thing is, bro, to be honest, they're old. The uncles that to lead the slack generally are like.
Yeah, so that's the problem, right? In Chicago is the same thing, where elder uncles from India and Pakistan used to come over, and they used to run the masjids. And the problem is that they can't relate to the children that are brought up and grown up in that society, in that environment.
Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head with that one, bro. Do you see what it is?
Right?
The ummah, the ummah doesn't like to own up to it. When you get a Muslim coming up to you saying, I've got a drug problem, or I had an abortion, or I commit zina, or I take drugs, most of these elders, they just disown you. Rather than deal with the problem, they'll just wash their hands off you, and they'll judge you instead.
See, right now in Chicago, half the friends that I grew up with are imams now. They're imams in masjids. They're running masjids. They're presidents in the masjid, schools. And what's great about that is that they can relate with the children, right? They can relate with the children because they were brought up in the same society, in the same environment. They know about drugs. They know about girlfriends. They know about this. They're okay to talk to about these kind of situations. Where when an elder from India comes over or some Arab comes over from there, they're not used to that type of society. They're not used to children coming up to them saying, hey, you know what? I accidentally took some drugs, or I got drunk last night, or I have an alcohol problem, this and that. Because it's forsaken in the Indian community, because the word goes around. It's forsaken in the Islamic community. But if you have an understanding imam that around the age group, like our age group, that understands it and can communicate with the environment, then I think it's a way better way to unify, Muslims as well, but also
exactly. Are you a Salafi, brother?
Yeah, I'm Sunni.
Are you following Maktaba Salafiyah? The prior predecessors?
Bro, go live music.
I'm just making a point. I'm actually making a good point. What I'm saying is,
I actually believe in the Quran and the Sunnah.
One second. Brother Hussein, what did you want to say? Brother Hussein, what did you want to say?
Look, Go Live Media, the whole point is that you're saying is, look, at the end of the day, you're saying, oh, you do follow Salafi message. Look, I'm a brother, I class myself as Sunni and Salafi thing. They're synonymous. It's about following the Quran and Sunnah. To try and make it off like these people don't understand so forth. I'm a Salafi brother. I have a project called Shahid. So to say that people who follow this understanding of all Salafi Islam is full and authentic Islam.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, bro. What I was gonna say is I would actually say the Maktaba Salafiyah, they've actually done a better job in taking these brothers in, you know, the brothers with the drug problems, the brothers who came from that kind of life, and they've managed to change them. So I wasn't actually, it was actually a comment on, promoting.
I'm just a regular, you know, I read the Quran, I follow the Sunnah. I don't go towards like any kind of you know, crazy rituals. Sometimes I don't even believe in sometimes the cultural rituals that they have. Some of them, I think that, you know what I'm saying? But
that's cool, man. Go Live Media. It's just that I thought Big Salafi came up before.
But I don't like labeling either. I don't like
that's what I meant. So what I meant,
and I'm not a judge either. So I don't judge people with what kind of beliefs they have. Just as long as you know, it's their beliefs. You know, they're not making me, forcing me to go into their beliefs, and I'm not forcing them. I think Allah will be the last person to judge them, you know? So just as long as I'm doing my thing, I'm treating my kids the right way to, you know, pray, the right way to, you know, believe in Islam, then I'm doing my job, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Alhamdulillah. So what the point I was trying to make is Salafiyah have actually done a better job than most of the other Muslim communities in regards to getting people out of that kind of life and dealing with these kind of more questionable issues like drugs, alcohol, prostitution and whatnot. It's the other communities within the Muslim community that have failed in these regards, like the Bangladeshi community, the Pakistani community. I'm not too sure about the Arab community, but Salafiyah definitely reach out. That's what I was trying to say.
Melo. I want to ask you a question. Do you not know where this definition of a man comes from? Is it certain countries, or is it where does this definition come from? That as long as I'm providing, and I would say that, alhamdulillah, because of Islam, the Muslim fathers are better general than other fathers, because most fathers are not even following, like, there for their kids. They're not even there. Like the Muslim fathers in bulk, in general, they're providers. They work long shifts and stuff. Where does this understanding of
I think it comes from everywhere, bro, to be honest. That's like me, myself. I even fall into that trap. Like, I bring in the money, I provide the food, the kids just start going about their own business, man. And it's like, it's kind of hard to get through to them after. Once you get into that habit where they just come home from school, you know, they eat their bit of food, they bring out their homework, and they go to their rooms and they jump on their technologies and all that.
I can't do that, bro. The first thing I tell them is like, what did you do today? They sit in front of me and they don't leave until they say me one thing. I'm like, what did you do today? I played games. I'm like, no, what did you learn today? My ABCs. All right. How did you do? Did you get a good mark? Yes. And then they give me my folder. I sign it and boom. Okay, go do your homework. And then we'll watch some TV, you know, together for an hour. And then you sit with me throughout the whole day. I mean, I don't.
What I'm trying to say is that I'm sure you two brothers, you at least tell your sons and daughters, I care about you, kiss them, you hug them, and so forth.
No, you have to, bro. You have to. All the time, if you don't, especially daughters, if you don't, he's gonna get that love somewhere else on the street, man.
Yeah,
and it's not only from you know the scary guy outside that's looking to snatch your daughter. They'll even go and get that attention from the teachers. They'll even go and get that attention from their kafir students at school, and they'll end up building a bigger community with them than with you. And next thing you know, you don't even know your child. And I'm still working on that myself, to be honest. I'm really afraid for my daughters.
I treat my son and my nephews the same way as my sons, you know. So I tell them all the time, I love you. And they're at the age now that they hate me saying that out loud. Hey, I love you, you know, because their friends are around.
I think,
but you know, they smile when they see it, you know. Yeah, they smile when they see me saying I love you, and I give them a kiss, I give them a high five. But yeah, I mean, you guys say that all the time.
There's that thin line as well, innit? Don't forget that thin line with discipline as well, because sometimes, you know, your child's been really naughty and they're talking back and they're doing horrible things.
You have to discipline.
They're pushing it and they're pushing it and they're pushing it. So I've got one daughter out of the kids. that is really naughty. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And surprisingly, the one who's really naughty is the one that, you know, wants the attention, the one that wants the hugs
Well, me and my wife, we have a different way of doing it. Maybe you guys could try it too. But I have my wife; she disciplines the kids, and myself.
Yeah.
I'm a more of a laid back, so they could come to me when they're crying. They talk to me, that daddy, you know, this is what happened. Abba, this is what happened. But when I get mad, they can tell right away I get mad because I rarely get mad in front of them. And you know that's a trigger. If they see their father getting mad, then they know they did something wrong, right? They did something really wrong. If their mother's yelling at them, you know, telling them, hey, you know what, you gotta do this, clean your hands, you know, and this and that. But when the father, if you get angry all the time, the kids are gonna do this. You get used to it.
No, but
if
that's
you
the
get
thing.
angry
You
once in a
can't
while,
be harsh with the time, and you can't just be soft all the time. If
yeah,
you're too harsh,
exactly.
they're gonna look for what they're gonna feel is they're gonna feel shut down, unloved, and they're gonna seek out the house. And also, if you allow them to get away with everything inside the house, then basically they're gonna take liberties with people outside.
Yeah. I'll give you guys a prime example. Like 2 days ago, right? My wife was calling my daughter twice, right, downstairs. She was like, okay. So my wife got mad. She went upstairs. She started yelling at her. She started crying. She comes to me and she's like, "This is what happened." So I sat her down and I explained to her, right? You know why your mom got mad? And I tried to explain to her in a calmer way than my wife yelling at her, so she would understand. You know, okay, you know, this is what happened. You know, you're our daughter. You know, you have to listen to us when we call you downstairs. Not the first time, second time. That's why mommy got mad. And then she kind of understood what I was talking about. And I'm like, you know, you're a good girl, right? And she was like, yeah. I like, you can listen to your mom next time, and she won't yell at you. So
Yeah, I
now
always
it's
say this to
mashallah,
my
you know.
daughters that I always say to my daughters that because the thing is with my daughters, I don't call them, but I call them all princesses. Yeah, I only I only refer to them by their normal names by when like I'm like addressing them for something that they've done wrong or something like that. And I always tell them when I'm telling them off, look, because I'm telling to correcting you or something. It doesn't mean I don't love you, but I have to correct you and so forth. But the thing is, I'm always calling them princess. I'm always telling them I love them 24/7 and just
mashallah, man.
to them.
Good.
Because if they live in a vacuum or a drought of hearing "I love you" and "I care about you" consistently all the time, when that guy in school or college or whatever or so forth tells them, they're gonna get so gassed, as we say in London, and it's like, wow, like I've never heard that from a male before in my life, and you know, all that sweet.
Okay, you know what I think it is.
What I would say is that this is what I'm trying to say. You say that you say to your kids, yeah, because we need to break the cycle. Because I noticed the uncles from back home and the fathers from back home, they have this thing that with their daughters and sons, as long as they provide, they don't have to show them affection. But you lot have obviously kids and you hug your daughters and you show them and sons and show them love and so forth. But what do you think it is about the fathers from abroad that act that way? And is it a minority? Is it 50%? Is it is my reading true? Because this is what I've seen from my project. I've seen Muslim boys who come from affluent families, and most of the time the reason why they do stuff is because their father is not showing them love, even though they're financially secure. So
I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
I think the first generation of the kids, like the first generation, like you know, my parents were first they came out here, you know, immigrants. I think the first generation when they started having kids, their mentality is a little bit different than you know what their parents' mentality was, and they want to do something different than what their parents did to them. And like my parents too, like you know, they love me and everything else like that. But you know, they had that verbal, like you know, that Indian, that straight up Indian type of mentality, right? Like if you disobeyed them, you know, you get a smack. You know, if you did this, you know, you get a smack.
The smack is understandable.
The problem was that.
But what I'm trying to understand is that did they tell your parents? Yeah, is it something? Does this exist? Is there a thing that Muslim fathers from abroad they provide, but they don't feel that they have to tell their sons that I love you, I care about you, and hug and be affectionate to you?
My dad always said that he loved us all the time. I mean, he still gives us those kisses. You know, like he was never embarrassed to show his love. You know, like in front of anybody.
Jafar,
it wasn't that unique, or is that? Sorry, go ahead and go live. You're trying to say something.
No, it's Abdullah. Yeah. But look, I think the problem is that they had a direct. They would just be direct. Their generation was more direct. They wouldn't have to give understandings. They knew culturally from their fathers and parents and mothers. They knew that when somebody gave them a command back in the culture, you know, like for instance, my Sudanese, you know, culture, my parents, when somebody gave them a command, they would automatically listen. It doesn't matter, you know, if anyone adult gave them a command, even a teacher gave them a command, if they did not obey, they knew there would be consequences. So it was a direct discipline. It wasn't something. It was a cultural discipline. But here, because here there's a lot less culture and more more different types of ways of life in the Western culture. In the Western region. That's why when we discipline our kids here, we have to discipline them with a balance of discipline itself and understanding. So, like when you said, when you speak to your kids, you explain to them what happened. Like Jafar said, he explained to them what happened, why it happened, right? That'll give them a better understanding of what they did wrong and why they shouldn't do it. Instead of just yelling at them, closing the door, and and then they're spending the whole night upset about what happened without understanding, giving a good understanding of what happened. You understand?
Yeah,
that's
that's the discipline side of it.
and that goes akhi, can I say akhi,
Sorry.
that goes also with the deen too, because when you force the kids into the religion and you tell them, hey, you need to do this, and don't give them a reason, then that's the problem. Because if you force them, they're not gonna feel interested. They're not gonna. It's like a history class, they're not gonna feel interested in what they're learning. But if you get them interested in it, if you give them an understanding, you tell them stories about it, or you give them a kind of a push, kind of an inspiration towards the religion, and while you're giving them these orders of what you're supposed to do, how you pray, how you do this, then they'll be interested. Like my father used to do to me, he used to tell me stories about the companions, the Sahaba, and that used to give me a real interest in the deen, to the point where I used to read books about Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, rahimahullah, and all the companions, rahimahullah, and radiallahu anhum, and this is what got me interested in the deen. So this is what I think our community lacks, is we don't give our kids interest in the deen. We don't teach them about. That's what the generations, starting to lack off. And yeah,
I think that with the youth, like I think boys and girls, both of them, yeah, especially because of social media, that one, we need to show them consistent and consistent love and how can I say, interaction and caring for them, and make them feel that when they speak, that what they're saying is very important and so forth. Someone's might
exactly. Yeah.
So someone's might. So basically, I think that in this society that your sons and daughters daily, you have to show, especially sons, because people think because sons are male that they don't need to be told I love you. They need it just as they need it as much, as daughters as well, because in this society, we're told that a man doesn't have any feelings, he's hard, he doesn't show sympathy to anyone else. But no, they're human beings, and if they don't get told they love you by the father, they will look for it in a gang. And I think especially the sisters and stuff and daughters and stuff, they need it and so forth, so that they have a high self-esteem, they know their worth and stuff. So when they go into school and college and this, that, and the other and so forth, they already know their value, so that these guys or these predators at school,
and so they can increase in intelligence too, so they know why certain things are wrong, instead of just giving them the idea that, hey, this is wrong, and they don't know why. Then they're gonna grow up with that. When they grow up, they're gonna think, hey, my dad used to tell me this wrong, but I don't really care, I don't know why it's wrong, and what happens, it becomes an impression on them that, hey, I can do this because my parents used to say it's wrong just to say it's wrong, but they never give me a reason. You get me? But if they're given that reason as a kid, if they're given that reason, intellectually, speak with them, treat them like they're your age. Give them, except, certain language, you should give them a good amount of information, of knowledge, pass off to them knowledge like they do in school, tell them, hey, this is wrong for this reason, this is wrong for this reason. It doesn't mean you don't take the discipline. It doesn't mean you shouldn't yell at them or not, or it doesn't mean, no, you have to balance it. That's what I'm saying.
To be honest, for a Muslim, and with raising kids in this society, there are so many factors involved, Akhi, with the pressure from the outside, the pressure from the government, and this new thing we have on our backs now, that we always have to prove that we're not extreme, and we always have to prove that we're this so-called moderate thing, this bid'ah that they made, and that pressure is projected on the children also. The children notice when the teachers are watching them, asking them things, treating them differently. Then at the same time, we've got the same struggles that our parents had when they raised us in this society as well. I'm not sure about you guys, But you know, for South Asians, I'm about 35 now, so we're talking, you know, childhood, what, 90s, early 2000s. They just kind of leave you to it, and it's almost like autopilot. Oh, throw them in school. Next thing you know, they'll have a degree, and you know, it seems
and
like
then they get shocked. They get shocked when you're not like them in their culture, huh? Because
exactly.
They're like, what happened to you? What you're not, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And it's like they expect you to just automatically become successful, and they have all these expectations of you, and then they expect you to marry according to their terms as well. So we've still got all of these cultural battles, even before the Islamic stuff, and it is going to be a real struggle. Like, for example, I've got a bag of kids here, and I've got so much Islamic work to do. I'm still in the process of teaching them Salah. I haven't even got around to teaching them Quran yet. And with all of this fear-mongering with the government as well, you know, you get worried where to put your children. And with all these new revelations coming out, like paedophile imams and extreme imams and how they treat your kids, and it's just become a really, it's a really confusing
homeschool is the best way to do it.
I agree.
Homeschool is the best way.
I was going to mention, you know, Adnan Rashid. Everyone knows Adnan Rashid, you know, from the park.
Yeah.
His son was on a podcast the other day, Musa Adnan, and I was surprised to hear that Adnan Rashid took his son out of high school in year 8. So 2 years in high school, he took at 13, 14 years old, he took him out of school for homeschooling. Then he said, a whole load of Then he said a whole load of other stuff happened. He managed not to do his GCSEs. He didn't even have GCSEs. But then at the same time, he still managed to go university and get a degree. So I was kind of fascinated, like, how this worked. So obviously, he said Adnan Rashid, the reason he took him out of school was because the schools are all bad now and they're corrupted.
That's exactly what it is, man. I mean, the school is so underfunded. They have teachers that are not even qualified to teach, and you see all these children having affairs with their teachers, and like, you know, America was a big thing where teachers were having you know, like sexual encounters with the child and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, you have mass shootings now. I mean, kids are that crazy where they're coming in with guns, shooting kids.
Yeah, the problem with schools in America now is, can I say, the problem with schools in America, and I don't know if it's the same in England or not, but it's just that the schools themselves, the teaching, basically, if you send your kid to high school, especially, just expect for them to have, if they're lucky, they'll have maybe 30% of knowledge, and the rest is just social interaction. That's it, 70%
Exactly.
social. And if the less amount is like 10% knowledge, and then the rest is 90% social interaction. So basically, all they're learning is just to socially interact with other people.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like homeschooling, bro.
What we could do is that, because obviously we're living and growing up in the West, yeah. So it's not going to be an easy ride anyway. But I think you could just do what's within your power. So, for example, when my kids are getting ready in the morning, there's cartoons called the Prophet Stories, that they blur out the Prophet and they tell the stories of all the prophets and this, that, and the other, and so forth. And it's really interesting for kids. So while they're eating their breakfast, they're watching that. So the last thing they saw when they left the house was something Islamic and so forth, and about, you know, the struggles the Prophet went through and so forth. And what is that? I think a lot of parents as well, they're cultural Muslims in that they fast during Ramadan because it's Ramadan time. They celebrate Eid because it's Eid time. They go Jummah out of routine, and not many parents actually sit down with their kids and say to them, okay, Islam is the truth because of Tawheed, and this is why, like, in a very basic way. And like, so I think that what happens is with a lot of Muslims, they just go through their fathers working, the mothers doing all the chores and so forth, but actually sitting a child down and explaining to themselves, you know, why Islam the haq, why Isa isn't Allah, why atheism isn't, you know, the haq, and this, that, and the other, and so forth.
Yeah, bro, he's saying, I'm sure maybe in the UK is like that, but wallahi, bro, like what I've seen in Chicago and places in America, the parents are more involved with their children when it comes to Islam, especially at my age. Like, you know, I'm 38, so I was born in the 80s, of course.
Yeah.
But my age kids, their children, they take very, very extensive, you know, what do you call it?
But that may be an exception. I don't think, like, in London, I don't know outside of Chicago if the rest of America's like that, but generally,
DC's like that.
Like generally in London, like if you was to stop the average parent and ask them why is Islam the haqq, why is it the truth, they would look at you blank. Like, well, the answer that we give you, the Prophet was a really nice man, but that's not like a sufficient answer, because they will say, oh, Gandhi was a nice man. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that obviously we need to educate ourselves. Yeah.
Yes, ourselves first, bro. Because let's be real, yeah. If all of us sat down with a piece of paper right now and got a pen and paper and said to ourselves, why is Islam the haqq? What would we write? You know, what I do is I simply say to myself, I believe in Allah and His Messenger, and I know it's the truth. When I read the Quran, I believe it's the truth. But then saying that to the kids is not so convincing for them. Do you see what I mean?
I know, but that's why you have to have some knowledge of the other books and so forth, and show
yeah, you know, Tawheed, Uluhiyya, Rububiyyah, Asma.
Okay,
I don't want to go much into the three categories of Tawheed because I don't want to get too technical.
I think we should change the topic now, because we've been talking.
Yeah, we've been on this topic for ages. Let's take some questions from the panel.
Can I just want to wrap up? I just want to make this point now. I'll come off. Go ahead. I think there's a number of things. Basically, Tawheed and Aqidah in a very basic manner. We have to show these. Like I said, they got the Prophet stories, which show the struggles of the Prophet and so forth. They can watch these things while they're eating their cereal and so forth and that, you know. Or you can just put a student like someone who's very good at explaining student that just very explains very basically to them. Secondly, I think also living in the West, if they have this Tawheed and Aqidah, even if they stray, because they know it's the haqq, it can be an anchor to bring them back, you know, because the society is very tempting. I also think that in people's late teens and early 20s, and what a few brothers mentioned is that we should really help people to get married, and we should get rid of this crazy maha or dowry business, because this is a fitna, why a lot of people are doing zina and so forth. So the whole thing is that, alhamdulillah, if our parents weren't Muslim, or they were Muslim but were cultural Muslims, we can break the cycle now, and we can bring the prices of marriage down. Like the daughter, because me myself, I know, I'm not going to be naive, that we live in a time where, you know, now it's birth. There used to be birth, childhood, and adulthood. Now it's just birth and adulthood because of smartphones. So the whole thing is, you have to know that if you have a daughter or son, they're going to be exposed to a lot of sexual things, and the best thing is in their late teens or early teens to help them to get married, or they're going to commit zina. So the whole thing is that I think it's a process of teaching our kids a very basic form of Tawheed and Aqidah, helping them to get, you know, helping them to chase their hobbies and stuff, and to get married early. And also that we, as like the brother said in Chicago, and if we can break the cycle of the imams being older and from abroad and so forth, and I think that will help, inshallah.
Inshallah. I want to take this question from Mr. H. He said, should Muslims be uniting with Raspect and Gang after the recent live stream mocking Islam? Look, bro, we know what Raspect and Gang and Jedi is on. We know they're kind of, we know they're not Muslims. We know that for certain. They're not Muslims. So we know they're not on our side. We're not on the same side.
We do not need new extra enemies. And plus,
exactly,
they're non-Muslims. And whatever happens, they are backing us like...
And we're not uniting with them. We're not uniting with them based on Aqidah or religion. We're not uniting with them based on justice. Yeah, based on justice and based on honesty and integrity. That's all.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt because I just spoke for a long while. But what I would say to you, what I would say to this, look, the situation.
Sorry. Nibiru Pirates, don't delete his comments. He was just asking a question. It's okay.
No, Nibiru Pirates is my bro. Yeah, is safe.
Okay, no, he was deleting Mr. H's comments. But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Hussein.
So my thing would be like this. I don't know what Gang say in their last video if they mocked Islam, but I generally know Jedi and thing and so forth. I would say that Gang and Suffolk are different to Sarah and Kalam in that Kalam and Sarah and these people, they want to destroy Islam and they want no one to be Muslim. I would think with Gang, some of them have misunderstandings of Islam. I've told Respect this to his face. And what is it? But the thing is this: Respect's main thing and Gang's main thing, or what they do is they try to, as non-Muslims, are trying to stop the killing that's happening on estates and this, that, and the other, and so forth. Yeah. sometimes they have dealing with Muslims because on these estates there's Muslim, non-Muslim, Sikhs, blacks, you know, whites, Hindus, Christians, this, that, and the other. So they're around Muslim. They're not, but the whole thing is so that their aim is to try and solve permanent. So their understanding, like respect, I would say that he has a limited knowledge of Islam and he makes his own tafsir of verses and stuff. But what I would say is that, look, we have the Quran and Sunnah and so forth. So this is, we believe this is perfect in rectifying the deen. And yeah, look, they want to stop the crime and they want to stop the killings and the gun shootings and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that is a noble cause. But the problem is that, okay, in that issue, it's a good cause, yeah. But in the other issues, like for example, like going carnival and, you know, saying smoking and drinking and this, that, and the other, these are things that our deen tells us wrong. So the whole thing is that they're trying to do something good, but the way we as Muslims deal with, how can I say, gun crime and this, that, and so forth, and that, like for example, with music. I don't want to get into discussion, but we know music is haram. Generally, that's the clear things on it. I don't want to get to argument over music and stuff, but the whole point is what I'm trying to say is that, for example, if a Muslim was to, how can I say without twist, like just say it properly without giving out the wrong message? Okay, so therefore you.
Their opinion of what is good, basically what you're saying is their opinion of what is good and bad is a little bit different to us.
Yeah, so yeah, so
we do have commonalities.
This is what I'm trying to say. So good, it's good that they want to give up gang. It's good they want to give up killings and murders and all this kind of stuff. That's good. But the thing is that for a young Muslim, okay, who basically wants to do that thing, the whole thing we believe how you solve that is getting on deen and manage your own business. And if you need to go one area or another, you go with a group of brothers. Like I'm saying, the so-called. Go. Sorry. What's that?
I would just say, look, I would just tell the people don't expect to go on Raspek's channel and he'll talk about Muslims and talk about the religion in the correct fashion. He's talking about it in a way.
Yeah, sorry. Actually, his mic is
I've been on the channels a few times.
I think so.
Jafar, it's your.
Brother Jafar, just a moment.
I just turned on the mic just now.
Okay, now I know, but you know what it is? I think you got your mic so close to you, even though when you got it on you, you breathe into it and makes like a really loud noise.
I've been trying to go up and down with the mic. What I'm saying is that I've been on Raspek's live program at night a few times, and the thing is that, you know, Raspek, you know, the thing I have to say is that he's a good moderator. First of all, you know, he lets everybody speak their point, but you know, there's nothing where you know, like you have some programs where you only have people who talk about Muslims and they don't let Muslims on, or they have people that you know, they're just by themselves, like, you know, like Raj, and then they just talk about Islam, but they don't have anybody on the panel. When I've been on his, you know, there's a lot of people that don't like Islam, which is fine, but there's a lot of Muslims that are on this panel as well that represent Muslims and Islam while they're on there, and they try to correct anything that's wrong.
The thing is, I wouldn't advise. What I would advise is that, look, they got a noble cause of why they're doing it, but like I said, we got Quran and Sunnah, and that's how we do it. I wouldn't advise any Muslim to go and learn off Islam on from the channel.
I mean, I just want to go personal.
I wouldn't say to go to learn your deen. You don't learn your deen from Google Hangout lives. Yeah, you don't learn your deen.
Yeah. Don't.
And you only learn them but the only thing I can talk about Respect and Respect basically is that I think he's a cool guy. I think he's very fair when it comes to balancing out the panel. And you know, when you see something being disrespected too much when it comes to Islam or Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or anyone, you know, causing any kind of friction in Islamically, he will call it out. Like he'll let them know.
I understand that, but what I would say is, respect. It's true. It's true what you're saying. And what it is that they try and when they see people just trying to say, oh, like grooming gangs is an Islamic problem, or they would say that honor killing and all this stuff is just a Muslim problem and stuff like. They will defend the deen and this type of. The problem is that Raspek's understanding is of who is a believer and what is a believer. He believes as long as you're a good person. As long as
I understand. I know that part. I mean, I'm not saying about that part.
What I'm trying to say is that basically, what I'm trying to say is that basically, and what is it? Because Raspek's trying to be fair. when there's like Sunnis and Shiites who both give them equal time, whereas generally as Sunni Muslims and so forth, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't like me, even me, my chat group. I'm not gonna debate Shiites on you know Sahaba, whether they're pious or not, or this, that, and the other. So the whole thing is, look, this is how we look at it is that they're people who have a noble cause in this, that, and the other. But when it comes to Islamic religions, because they're not Muslims and they don't understand the deen, so you don't learn your deen from there and so forth. Now the whole thing is, so it is a good thing, but as that's the whole thing is that with them, like
Yeah,
when
it's
they're trying to
annoying as
sort
well.
things out, you know what I'm saying? If you're a Muslim, like we're not generally around weed, we're not
Brother,
generally around free
brother
mixing
Hussein.
and so forth and that. So the whole thing is, what I would say is that you hang on for your deen and this, that. They're not, but I don't see them as enemies. We shouldn't. Don't see these same people, even though that the way we correct things is not
Yeah,
how they correct things. They're not enemies like Kalam and Sarah. They're not someone who put all their
exactly.
90% of their effort into trying to destroy the deen. So there's a big difference between the two. But you don't learn your deen from them.
Yeah, okay, guys.
Yeah,
Listen, but
go ahead, Akhi.
let me just get in
I
quick.
agree. I
Let me
agree.
just get in quick yeah. Can you just mute your mic, brother Riz? Anyway, what I wanted to say was three things, interesting topics I wanted to discuss quickly. One of them was Ustad Adnan Rashid basically getting disturbed by some of the Muslim brothers, like heckled basically while he was trying to talk to the far right, Danny, whatever. And then Ustad Adnan goes, look, bro, can you please be quiet? Move away. And the brother goes, this is Speaker's Corner. I can heckle if I want. I can talk if I want. So we had to move away because, first of all, that guy, Danny, he's live streaming. Yeah, live streaming to his people. And when they see like all these brown faces surrounded, because look at him, he blatantly goes that I'm showing everyone what's going on here, and this is not going to carry on for much longer. Look at his language. So anyway, Ustad Adnan wanted to refute him with hikmah, with knowledge, and all that. Then you see Muslim brothers coming, heckling, shouting, swearing, and offering him out and stuff like that. That's not good for Islam, bro. That's not really good. That actually proves the point that all these Muslims coming to Speaker's Corner trying to act like they own the place and whatnot. It's very bad.
I think Akhi, I met Omar personally, and I think his name is Deep. Personally, I met him for one day. I met them. I see them a couple times, but they're nice brothers. I just think Akhi, they seem like the kind of people from what I've seen. They just seem they're very. I think they can't hold their temper. Sometimes they have a high
It's
temper
not
when
that,
they.
bro. Your elders, you need to respect your elders. Do you understand?
Exactly.
Shouting
No,
at
it's
Ustad
not.
Adnan like that was
I'm
disrespectful.
sure. Akhi, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he respects Adnan Rashid. I'm sure he respects him. I think what happened was he sees, because you have to think from his viewpoint what he's looking at. I think from him he's looking at Adnan getting taken advantage of. Not really, in a way, but getting. You know how it is. How these Islamophobes come in the park and they repeat the same stuff. So Omar and Deep are seeing this person, because I heard Deep say in the video, yeah, but we talk to him every week. We talk to him. He comes back again. So what I think their
You know
problem
what?
is they
You know
don't
what?
realize.
Inshallah,
Hold on, Akhi.
inshallah, yeah. I bring dua to Allah that all the characters, anyone, me included, if I'm bad for the dawah, for
The
example,
insincere characters,
may
yeah.
Allah remove me from Speaker's Corner.
If
For
you're
example,
insincere,
maybe I might lose
yeah.
my temper and I might do something. I might get arrested and banned or whatever. May Allah remove me if I ever do harm to the dawah, to the park, to Islam. Allah remove me, because you know what? That place has a lot of attention on it, and
Yeah.
especially like I'm telling you, bro, we had to move 3 or 4 times, and when we saw these brothers come in, it only takes one or two, and it makes it look like the whole mob is at it,
The
bro.
whole mob,
Do
yeah.
you get it?
But do
So
you know why
look,
that's
I saw,
happening though?
but Akhi, if I can
yeah.
finish, Akhi, it's because look, those two guys.
Everyone,
That's
like
why
you
I
have
try to.
1 minute and make your point in a minute, because I need to address some few issues as well. Very important ones. So
Yeah.
quickly,
Very,
bro,
yeah.
Abdullah, go on,
Yeah.
then go live.
Okay, so the problem is with those brothers is basically what they're trying to do is, if you look at, I always try to give people excuses. If you look at it in their shoes, what they're seeing is this EDL follower or Tommy Robinson supporter come every week, taking advantage of Muslims, asking them to condemn, and showing straight bare ignorance when it comes to issues,
They've
right?
been doing it all
So
day, bro. They've
yeah,
been
yeah,
doing it
but
all day.
but I think what their problem is, when they see that, their only reaction is to react emotionally. So they know that they think that, listen, this guy's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Just yell at him. Just call him out. Just call him a bigot. Call him this. Just
Bro,
don't
when he
even
was
don't even
alone,
don't even give him da'wah. Just
bro,
what I'm
when he
saying.
was alone, yeah,
yell
when
at
he
him.
was alone, he was being like all friendly with him. And the moment he saw like a lot of people, he's why act like that? If you're gonna be brave, then be brave. Don't
They're
act like
emotional, Akhi. They're emotional. I've seen
no.
that. I've spoken
And
with them personally. They're very emotional when it comes to certain
so,
issues. They don't know. They're not. Unfortunately,
who
they
are they
don't
doing
know.
harm to, Akhi? Who are they doing harm to?
But they're doing harm to us, Akhi. But
Us
the problem
dawah.
is they don't. Yes, but they don't see the hikmah in that. Like for instance, Omar, that one time he saw the hikmah in picking up the Quran, kissing it, and leaving Tan alone,
I'm
right?
not mentioning no
So
names. You did, bro. But go on anyway.
yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean, yani, I'm giving an example of a
I
good
know, I
thing,
know.
yani. So he knew the hikmah that, listen, if I this is gonna look better for us, and it's a better reaction than me attacking Tan for throwing the Quran on the floor. Now, some characters in the park, they don't have that hikmah again, or
30
when it
seconds. Go
comes
on.
yeah, when it comes to different times, so different scenarios. So that's the problem. The park is a freebie, man. Anybody can come in there and just yell, or just get angry or show emotion. Nobody has any, there's no rule list for people to
Hey,
follow, unfortunately.
I have
Go
a
ahead.
5 second question. I just have a 5 second question. Is Moldeen and Omar related? I just have a funny feeling they're related for somehow.
No, I don't
No,
Um,
think
they're
so.
not.
I
They're
doubt.
not.
No, they're
I
not.
doubt
No, they're
it.
not.
because what they do is
They're not,
exactly
bro.
like similar.
Akhi, let's not
Go
mention their
live.
names. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Don't mention no names, Akhi. Go live. Go live. Go on.
Yeah, so I think the reason that there's stuff's happening when they're intimidating these racist guys, yeah. First of all, you see people like James Goddard and this Danny guy. I call them pound shop Tommy Robinsons. They're like a pound shop version of Tommy Robinson, trying to do what he does, and trying to get big in their own networks. Just like Amy, they come there with an agenda to record Muslims, or they're scary Muslims. But with regards to heckling them and intimidating and bullying them, you have to look at what's happened in the last few weeks at the park, with people getting run out with the Tan situation, Tan getting kicked out of the park. Then you ran Raj out of the park. Then what was the other one? Then remember after dark they started on them racist women that were with Tan, and there's been this really big aggressive energy going on there. The same way when they hounded Kalam and a few guys started pushing Kalam in the face and whatnot. So this energy has almost created this trend. It's almost like a tradition to run these guys out of the park, and until it stops happening, it's going to keep happening. And obviously, people like Omar, the antagonist, and the usual culprits who cause these things. It's almost like there's this bad energy sitting there, and it's just waiting to kick off. And it only takes one or two people to get aggressive, and then the mob surrounds them, and it's the same thing. Alhamdulillah, this Ramadan there wasn't any fighting in the park from the Muslims. Whereas last Ramadan, I don't know if you remember, what was his name, with Sarah Garvey and a few of the Muslims, everyone's fasting, and they're getting angry, and there was a lot of violence. For the Muslims in that situation, things kind of cleared up and there wasn't much violence, and the Muslims started behaving themselves. But with these recent episodes of these guys getting run out, it's created this tradition of heckling racists and getting them out. And it's not just from the Muslims, it is from the gang, from Tan using the N-word, from Kalam allowing Tan to use the N-word on his thing, and this internet stuff, it really adds to it as well. I've noticed the trend. So it's like everyone goes to the park on Sunday, then just like we're sitting here now, every day you'll find a live stream from someone that's going on for hours talking about the situation, and then whoever they had an argument with on the Sunday, they'll for the whole week, they'll speak about them, do videos about them, then they'll confront that person on the Sunday. And it's like an ongoing cycle, and everyone's been sucked into the drama. There was a time, we should be sitting here talking about the Dawa videos, talking about the debates, talking about Shamsi, Adnan, these sort of people, Brother Mansour, and the debates they've been doing. But instead, we end up addressing all of these, arguments, and it's like a soap opera, really. And
Yeah. But that's why
I
Rasulullah sallallahu said,
agree.
"Don't get angry." 3 times. He said, "Don't get
Anyways,
angry.
guys,
Don't get angry. Don't get angry." So
what I was gonna say was, you're right, completely right, what you just said as well. Especially people like Raj. Have you know he comes as soon as one Sunday's finished, he will get on this live stream and he's planning another Sunday. It's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. My man's got obviously he's got no life, yeah, no job, nothing. That's why my man's constantly.
What did Jedi said? He teleports back to his room
Sorry?
from the speaker's corner. That Jedi said in the video. Remember
That's
that
what
video?
that's what Colin used to do too.
He said
Colin used to do the same thing.
he teleports from speaker's corner back to his basement and back.
Bro, that's nothing. Colin used to do right in his car, bro. In his car, he would start in his car.
It's like it's not even just Raj. It's all of them. People like Manny, people like Hassan.
Yeah.
They, you know, Manny comes across like this sort of posh, middle class working guy. Why is he on the internet every night?
Nowhere. He's
like some kind of trader, and he's got a fixation. He's got a fixation on this pedophile thing. That's all he goes on about. Whether it be the grooming gangs, whether it be the government and the politicians, pedophiles.
It's feeding
obsession, bro.
Public, bro. It's feeding what it is. He wants to grow. He wants
buzzwords.
To be famous. He wants to grow his channel. That's what it is.
You know, shall I tell you something about Manny? I think it's a psychological disorder because I don't mean to bring this up like in a bad way, but he had a daughter that died at a young age, yeah.
Okay.
And I think he's got issues. Yeah, and I think he's got issues in regards to that. Yeah. So what he does is because of the grief over his daughter gone, and he hasn't really got over that grief, he tends to compound that and involve it into the grooming victims and kids, and that's why he gets so passionate, almost emotional.
So he takes it out. He takes it out on the enemy. You mean? He takes
it out on anyone who's victimizing young girls. Yeah, so he takes it out on pedophiles. And if you notice, he almost ends up in tears. And he's like, watch what you say. I'm going to get emotional because you're disrespecting.
That's why he told me you're blaming the victim. Yeah, you're blaming the victim. You're blaming that. That's I see what you're saying.
You know what? Anyway, listen, guys, I want to say quickly as well, another thing as well, is a little bit of a change subject. But,
yeah, let's change the subject.
You know, like forcing people, for example, yeah? Like, if you force people, like, you know, sometimes some people might be on a iman level, for example, they might be high up there or better than me or two or three steps above me. Now if you come at me like because you're on a certain iman level looking down on me and tell me, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, it doesn't work like that. If you force people, it does not, it does the opposite, you know. And you know, like people coming out at, say, sisters, for example, saying, don't get me wrong, I'm just don't take anyone, don't take this wrong way, I'm giving you advice, bro. Do you get it? This is not targeting anyone or anything like that. This is genuine advice. Yesterday I just saw a video, I'm not mentioning any names, because look, what I, for example, personally, on the side, whoever I advise, I do it just because no one is seeing it, what sort of advice I'm giving. Don't think I'm not advising my people that I know. So that's that.
Yeah.
But then I saw someone, yeah, that saying that, oh, why haven't you got hijab on? Get off the panel and this and that. Now, doing it that way was totally wrong because you embarrassed that person. And if you had any intention of giving that person advice about the hijab and stuff like that, that is not the way. That's gonna make someone do the opposite. Because when I was young, my dad used to basically have that forced me to pray salah, go to the masjid and all that. And you know what? I used to be scared of him when I used to go, but I actually built up hatred inside going to the mosque and this and that because my dad, he had good intentions and he did it in a good way. But I literally had hatred. As soon as I turned like 16, 17, wallahi, bro, like a bit of a man, I just rebelled. I didn't want to know about religion. I didn't want to know about the masjid. My skin used to burn literally when I used to like go in the masjid, and used to give me like head rushes. And alhamdulillah, yeah, when I realized a little bit later on the years, I realized why my dad did that. And you know, there you go. So forcing, it just doesn't work, man. I'm telling you, it has the opposite effect. So
yeah, you have to. That's why I say understanding is. Oh, it has to be equal, go hand in hand with discipline. It has to be, because if a person you don't give the person their history, you don't give the person the love for the deen, the love for their companions and for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and for Allah Subhanahu wa Taala and for all these subjects, man. If you don't give them the love for it, then what's gonna end up happening is they were only going there just to follow your orders. They weren't going there for their own free will, for their own sake, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to build up a love for it. So that was the problem. Our parents didn't, instill in us when we were young that love for the deen until we grew up and we used our aql ourselves, you know, and we were
I
able
think
to.
it's a thing within ourselves and even within Muslims. Take, for example, in Ramadan, you know, we're on our top game then. No swearing, no backbiting, not even seeing non-hijab women, not seeing anything on the TV, avoiding music. Literally, most of Ramadan, the TV is off and stuff like that, yeah? And you know, when you reach that kind of level of iman, for that, you know, iman fluctuates up and down. And usually in Ramadan, if you're doing what you're supposed to, your iman goes pretty high. During this time, you'll notice a lot of brothers and sisters, they get really strict. And when they see stuff online or wherever, someone swearing or someone doing something un-Islamic, have you noticed it tends to make them more angrier?
Well, like, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that people, they want to look out for each other and protect each other from this sinful, you know, acts. And but the problem is the way they give out the information is the hikmah. That's the problem with the ummah now, is we lost a lot of our hikmah, our wisdom. You know, from the past, from the scholars we used to have in the past, they used to give us most of the wisdom of how to speak with people, how to interact. You know, but now the problem is we have the knowledge, but we lost the wisdom. So we don't
I
know how
wonder
to
if it would be
provide the
totally
information.
different if we were in the Middle East amongst all the patients, brothers.
Akhi,
I wonder if it would be different. I don't
it
know.
would be the same because I wanted to mention that because you said earlier I wish we were in Turkey or something.
Yeah.
If you go to some of these countries, our Arab countries, they suffer from a lot of what we suffer here, or even something worse than that. So it's not like I mean, taban, there's a lot of very good things in the Muslim countries. There's a lot of very good things, you know. But the problem is look, Allah. We have to think it this way. You have to use our hikmah here too. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought us here for a reason, right? You're in America speaking the language of the English for a reason, right? I mean, in England, you're speaking English language in England, and I'm in America, right? What are we supposed to do here? Either we're gonna be like the Rasul said in the Hadith, either we're gonna be meant so many, but we're gonna be like the scum of the earth. We're gonna be useless, or we're gonna be the people who are gonna actually spread this deen. We're gonna do the job Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us to do. So alhamdulillah, like you have Speaker's Corner in America, we have some of these dawah stalls. We can share the deen, you know? If we go back to Turkey or Africa or whatever, we're gonna do is be amongst our brethren in a safe zone. We're not gonna do anything except follow our deen the way it's supposed to be. Now that should be for people who feel like they cannot benefit the deen and spread the knowledge, or they're weak in the deen, or they're afraid that they might get lost in the system. You get me? To go back to their countries. As for us, we speak the language. There's no better opportunity than for us to do da'wah. The number one thing, to do da'wah and to follow our religion in these countries, so as we can provide an example to other people, you know. Because of us coming here, alhamdulillah, Allah used us to spread Islam. Like look at Chimsi, look at Adnan. You think if they stayed in their countries, Allah would not have used them to spread the deen, you know. So it's a blessing for them to be here to be able to spread the deen to non-Muslims. So we can't just hope to go back to the Middle East. We should hope to make changes here within the communities here and bring them closer to Islam. Because a lot of people have become Muslim because of what Allah did through people. You understand?
So, I think it depends on the individual, because
it depends on the individual if they're weak or if they're strong.
Because sometimes your parents just came here for like dunya reasons, and that's why you're here. So if you feel, and I think this is like the majority of people, if they
you see my point, Hussein, you're here though. That's the thing.
No, we're here. But what I'm trying to say is that the reason why we're here, sometimes it wasn't a deen reason. So like I would say like the Muslim, like I said, I've been to Egypt, yeah, and Egypt, I wouldn't say that like it's the best Muslim country and so forth, but I suppose that other Muslim countries are like this the places where you have the Vatican everywhere and the masjids everywhere. It's like kind of impossible for you not to miss the prayer, or you know, when you want to do something, you have to really search for it. You have to go out your way. Where here's the opposite. There's sin like everywhere in your face. You have to chase, like, obviously the salah and from masjid to pray and so forth. So, but the thing is that I wanted to talk about the thing about was it motivation? Like, I agree. If you blast someone in public in front of people, that's just like being that's just bad manners, yeah. But different people are inspired by different things. Some people, the stories of Jannah and the Prophet's mercy and Allah's love and this, that motivates them to do good. But some people, when their man is low and stuff, or what motivates them is being speaking to them straight, talking about their grave and talking about their health. Like, for example, me, if my man is low or so forth, I'm more likely to listen to something about hellfire and what's going to happen to you, the sinners and stuff when they go to Jahannam, and you read about Jahannam and Yom Kippur and what happens in the grave, and that motivates you. So it depends on the individual. But
yeah, but Akhi, if I can just say something 2 seconds, what I'm trying to say is, if a person goes back to the Middle Eastern countries or Africa, it's because they want to be in an Islamic system, living comfortably in an Islamic system where they cannot feel threatened. But we're here. The hikmah. What is the hikmah? Why did Allah place us here? What was the reason? What was the?
But I don't think
we're
that's
here?
what I'm trying to say. I don't think that we were placed there, because even there's a hadith that says that when the angels come to someone at death and they were in a place where they couldn't practice,
Yeah, they're gonna say, why did
the angels will say, why did you?
Allah big enough?
Yeah, why
Yeah,
enough? And the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that as well is that I don't think, look, social media, all this stuff, like we're not a lot of us are not as strong as we think we are. This country.
Let me play this video as well after when you finish saying quick. Yeah, go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying that, look, at the end of the day, if your intention is if your intention is to make hijrah and you can't make it, and you have that intention, you're working towards it and you die, may Allah give you Jannah. If you want to give dawah and your deeds not suffering here, because I think the vast majority of people, the Western countries are really, really sinful, and I think in the Western countries you gain more bad deeds than good deeds. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying that you should I'm saying that if you're here, I think the people that believe that their good deeds outweigh their bad deeds while they're here in this country, yeah, they should give dawah and so forth, but I don't think
yeah.
Okay, let me play this video. Yeah, I don't get it. Before I just quickly do, why do like people from an armchair who don't come to the park, and they don't come to the park and they say,
Say, don't let them wind you up.
No, I know. It's like,
Don't let them wind you up.
why the Muslims attack other Muslims, man, and then
Said, I'll give you. Look, I'll tell you why, man.
all right,
I
let
used
me
to be in
play
that
this.
chat.
Huh?
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna say, bro. Let me just.
No, but
play
Said, the thing is, wait, if you don't react to their comments, yeah, and they don't think you've recognized them, it burns them.
I know. I'm not
Yes.
actually. I'm not reading off a comment. I'm just generally saying. But let me play this video. Watch this. Brother told me. I think it's something to do with our subject. Hold on.
Forget, they're not academic things.
But it's weird because you say that.
Do you know? If you read the document, then you should know about child molestation.
So I haven't read the document. I can only tell you the bits that I've seen.
I can tell you.
Okay, we're not going to finish what I'm saying. And it basically said that all those who've been found guilty, prosecuted and found guilty, of course 90% was British Pakistani Muslims.
No, if you not read it, I would like to see this. Look, the Quillian Foundation have been recruited for this document. Yeah? It was non-academic. It was so bad that this research cannot be done again. Because usually in scientific research,
You think your Home Secretary, being Pakistani himself, would risk coming on national
my
TV?
point of view is, in that demographic, my point of view is, they're in Rochdale and these areas.
This guy behind, like, he's some of the best manners in the park, mashallah. He's very, like,
Hamza, yeah, mashallah, yeah.
He's very controlled.
Brother Hamza. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Someone was
He's
asking.
beautiful at Clark.
Yeah, someone was asking in the comment who was attacking. I'm not going, Mr. H, whoever you are. I wasn't on about you. I was generally on about Muslims. Like, there are sometimes we have to call some Muslims out in the park when they do something, and because when we call them out, we get attacked. Oh, why are you going against the Muslims? But then you'd see Muslims attacking other Muslims for minor, silly things. There, I don't get it, man. Why the Muslim community are so hypocritical at times.
It's internet, bro. That's what it is, bro. It's internet, bro.
Yeah,
if it wasn't internet, it wouldn't happen. If you remember, you're pretty old, yeah? You're in your 30s, bro, yeah? Do you remember there was a time where we didn't have no Facebook, we didn't have no this and that? If you was lucky, there was a chat room or an MSN Messenger.
It all started at 2008, 9, I think. Around that time.
Yeah, and it's like these, you know what it is? We all do it. It's like we type before our brain thinks, and it's all impulse. Whereas if someone was in your face, you would look at them and you'd think, should I say this or should I not? What reaction am I?
Yeah, there's no filter on the internet.
Imagine we could see our deed bank balance. Imagine we can see that. Man,
Bro.
it would
I'm
be.
hoping, I'm hoping Allah's just gonna allow us for the internet,
You know what?
But,
Just
but
no,
bro,
he
look,
won't,
yeah,
bro.
look,
No,
that'd be
he
great.
bro,
won't.
look,
You could kill
look. You see,
someone's
when it comes to
future.
internet, look how negative people are. You could have, yeah, you could have a person kissing their grandmother, yeah, and that video will get dislikes, yeah, like or hugging their grandmother, yeah, who just survived going through cancer or something, or just had that operation, and there will be dislikes on that video, bruv. So that the whole thing is that there's just some evil people in the comment section, bruv. That's just you know. There will not be a video on YouTube except it's got dislikes. No matter how it could be someone, it could be a disabled person, I don't know, who got new limbs or something. You get dislikes, bro. So
You know
Yeah,
this guy.
people
You
in
know
the
this guy,
comments,
Danny.
man.
You know this guy, Danny. Yeah,
Mhm.
he may be like an Islamophobe or whatever, but I can tell that he hasn't crossed like what's his
he's
name,
got
like
some
James.
manners
Yeah,
amongst
he's
them.
got manners. He
Yeah.
hasn't got. He's not like James Goddard or Tan or anyone like that or Tommy Robinson's side yet. But you know the hate that some of the Muslims who go there and attack him, he's going to turn him into one. And you know
But he
what?
can see the good Muslims as well.
And he has
So
500-600 people tuning onto his Facebook, yeah, and all of them are seeing that just that rap. I mean, some brothers, yeah, and what's going to happen? He's going to convert all these 500 people into Islamophobes. So when we talk to people like that, for example, like Tommy, like Islamophobes, and when they got their phone on live, we're not actually talking to them. We're trying to get through to the people on his phone, And you know
true.
what? However much Islamophobes they are, however much they are, if we behave in a good, like the way our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how he taught us, how he behaved, how he told us to act with non-Muslims. If we act in that manner, I'm telling
Don't
you
get
right
angry.
now,
Yeah.
yeah. If, for example, out of that 500, we get just one person thinking, you know what, um, look, man, look at that guy's behavior. Look how he's behaving. You know what? Let me give you a good example. Do you remember when me and Ali Dawa went and got Tommy Robinson in Cambridge? Do you guys remember that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened was, Alhamdulillah, what happened? I gave my camera. I had a cramp, man, and so I had another Muslim brother who was there. He was just a walkabout. So I said to him, bro, can you hold my rig? Because it's quite heavy, the camera and the rig. So he held it. So I was like stretching and stuff, yeah. And there's another white guy who was walking past, and he goes, "What's going on here? Like, what the hell is going on here?" And I explained to him. He stood there about for 15 minutes quietly and listened. And do you know what happened? He goes to me, you
What?
know that guy, brother, that white guy, Tommy Robinson. He goes, he looks very angry and hateful. And your brother, the other guy, the Muslim guy, he's very calm and stuff. He goes to me, so what are they talking about? I said the Quran, and the guy goes, he's got over 100 verses about to killing non-Muslims. He goes, do you have a Quran? I go, yes, I do. I go, wait here, my car's just across the road. So I ran over, got a Quran, English translation one, and I gave it to him, and I took it home. See what I mean, bro?
SubhanAllah.
See
Yeah.
what I mean?
See.
You know what I mean?
See. Yeah.
You will
You'll
go
always
home.
reach the people who have intellect and who think. You'll always reach them as long as you keep calm and don't get angry. That's the most important thing, because just because you think, okay, this guy is setting a trap for me to condemn this and condemn that, he might be doing that, but there's other people who might not be going for that trap. They might actually want to know about your religion. They might want to know. So if you confront these guys like Danny or James in the park or something, look, the best thing to do is not to speak to them in a reasonable way. Don't speak to them in a volatile way. Speak to them in a way where you can have a decent conversation. If they don't want to have a decent conversation and they just want to trigger you, then walk away. Don't respond to them, because
Yeah,
if
and
you get
all this.
angry, you're not defending the deen. You're not being a brave warrior for the deen. All you're doing is showing them how Islam is in their point of view. You're confirming
Yeah,
their viewpoints.
and one more thing, yeah. This, I don't know, when it suits people, unity, unity, unity.
Yeah,
And when it doesn't suit them, then disunity. Like, do you understand? Anyway,
yeah.
what I wanted to say was, yeah, if there's people at the park doing harm, yeah, to the dawah, yeah, and I don't care, man. You know what? Allah says, even if the truth is against you, stand up and speak,
Stand
yeah.
there.
If if you're doing bad to the dawah, You know what? I don't care, man. I'll call you out, and brothers will call you out. Ustad Adnan will call you out. Muhammad Hijab will call you out. Ali
Yeah, we're
Dawson
gonna
will
be
call you out.
just. Yeah.
Brother Hussein calls them out anyway. You know what? I don't care, man. From now on, I'm not gonna show unity on that, man.
You know what
Forget
the
that.
first step should be? The first step should be if he's the person's that trying to fight people, this, that, ever, is try and get someone who he respects the most out of the speakers to go up
To
to
speak
him
to him.
in private.
Exactly.
And that 9 times out of 10, yeah, we'll get him to stop and this, that, and so forth. And then what it says that then if not, you just take him aside with a bunch of older brothers there and say, look, bro, we're trying to do that here.
Ustad
And so
Adnan, yeah, is like
but I'm talking about as a group, actually. When you have a group of people that are known for giving down the park and so forth, and you take that brother secluded place away with them and say, look, we're trying to achieve.
Don't expose them. Don't expose them in front of everybody. Yeah, because
That's
it's
the thing
gonna.
you shouldn't do.
It's
Even
gonna
if
put
it's
them off.
the person.
Yeah, that won't
What I'm
work.
trying to say, no, what I'm trying to say to you, look, maybe one person, okay, in the heat of the moment, it's not going to work. But I'm saying is that if you approach him one Sunday, you know, take him aside, far, far away from where anyone can see, and there's a bunch of people, you know, who he respects and so forth. They say, look, bro, we know your heart's in it and so forth for this, but you're making things worth us, this, that, ever. Then, you know, I'm saying most likely, okay, the brother will come to his senses and realize, look, I'm trying to do good, but these people have actually told me, who are respected and so forth, that I'm causing more harm than good. Now, if he doesn't, then after that, you do it for a different way. But the whole thing is that 9 times out of 10 will do it. You know what I'm saying?
And what also you should include is not only correcting him, but showing him why behaving in that certain manner towards these certain people. You know, in private, you tell him this, behaving in this sort of manner towards these certain people will actually not help the da'wah. It'll only aid those people. So if you behave in an angry manner, all you're doing is taking the bait. That's it. So you need to, you know, you might think in their mind, I think they think they're so prideful. They think that they're being a warrior for the religion, you know. But unfortunately, what they're doing is they're actually eating the bait, you know.
You know, one
They're
thing I
trapping
don't
themselves.
get. One thing I don't get, yeah, is why, if we all avoid Raj, don't approach him at Speaker's Corner. I think that's it. It's done. He's done. But
Now it's done, but the problem with that, Saeed, the problem is that so you can get the adults, yeah, and people in their mid, maybe late 20s or 30s or 40s to do that, but anyone can pass through Speaker's Corner. Like people, young kids in their teens from Edgware Road are passing through there all the time. So it's like they're not. We don't have communication with them apart from seeing them in the park, and two, they're just doing their own thing. So it's gonna be very hard. You know, some people are tourists, some people are just youth from Medjugorje Road. Like to get them to say to them, and look, different people are in the park all the time. Different streams of Muslims are in it. So to say to everyone that's there, do not speak to Raj and just get everyone to follow. Like instead, do it.
It's impossible. I know. It's impossible.
It's not about what they say. That's
one thing I don't get is sorry, but hold on. One thing I don't
go ahead,
get.
Akhi.
I wonder how many of the people who takes the moral high ground and just because they think they're on a higher iman level than someone else. I wonder how many of them know the condition of wudu, condition of salah, or are they even praying salah? I don't, man. When they come to Speaker's One, I have seen some hypocrites, man, and some like craziness, man. And I'm telling you, man, 1 year ago, a year and a half ago, it wasn't like this. Now, the things I'm seeing is like, oh my gosh, it's like I'm thinking to myself sometimes, you know what? Maybe a year ago, year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago, I would have put off on. I would have been put off on Islam, and I would have. Do you understand? I would have like said, nah, man, I'm not having this. Like Paul, Brother Paul, yeah. What happened was recently he was calling out the people who do wrong, basically extremists or whatever. He wanted other Muslims to back him, and he didn't get that backing. Like more, one or two, Ali Dawa did, Brother Hussein did, and other people did, but he wanted more. And Brother Paul did go over the top, extra, rubbing it in. And what happened was he was blaming basically Islam over the behavior of these type of Muslims. So basically, he kind of left Islam. And Alhamdulillah, yeah, I left him an audio message. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I'm probably mentioned this to you, Abdullah, the other day.
Yeah.
The other day, I left him an audio message saying, Akhi, why are you, you know the truth of Islam, why are you letting some bad Muslims cloud your judgment, and you're saying you left Islam and you're unsure and all that. So then he goes, well, this is the way I think, blah blah blah. Anyway, a few days later, he messaged me saying, Brother Saeed, I just want to thank you. Your audio message, I've listened to it, and you are right. And alhamdulillah, you've cleared my misconceptions up. And basically, he's kind of back. He's kind of back into the fold of Islam and stuff like that. So,
but you know what is actually the problem people have to realize, when famous people become Muslim or people become Muslim, like when you say that I'm leaving Islam because this person did such and such and such, after understanding
yeah,
the whole thing is that Islam's a blessing for you. Like, your life is going to be better with it. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing about like chasing people down for shahada, like I'm always getting shahada and stuff. The blessing is if a famous person becomes Muslim, that's a blessing for you, not for us. You know what I'm saying? And we should stop doing this thing of raising people who are famous to take shahada, because because what is that, say they leave the team tomorrow and so forth, but the whole thing is alhamdulillah for your message on what you did and everything, and yeah, it's the right thing to do and so forth and that, but you have to alhamdulillah, the message is good and so
just
forth.
the audio message I left him, bro, and the way he said it, yeah, I had to play it back. And when I played my own message back, I was thinking to myself, wow, man, did I really? I didn't even know I left a message like that, and I surprised myself. I was
Maybe
thinking
it
to
was
myself,
sincere,
I was thinking to myself, oh my God, like, is that really me? Like, I had to hear it 2-3 times to think something coming. That's the way I sounded. I didn't believe that was me, bro. Wallahi, it's strange. It was so strange, man.
Subhanallah. But you know what it is, Akhi? The thing is, I'm not gonna blame the brother. I'm not gonna blame the brother for it. Like the problem with this kind of heroism that we place on our Muslim brothers, that we think that they should all be held to such a high level, and when they mess up, oh khalas, Islam is wrong because of what they did. This is a horrible way of thinking about the deen, because it's emotional thinking. If you have this thinking where if some people in the Muslim community are not acting the way they should, and you blame Islam for it,
there's a
then
brother
unfortunately,
here. There's a
one
brother
second.
here saying that Muslims shouldn't be submissive to the kuffar. See how the people twist it. See how people twist
because
yeah,
he's narrow-minded.
Who is anyway? What are you talking about? I don't know. These comments are not worth the
Yeah, sometimes they're not worth
think about it,
reading,
people leave these comments, they leave these comments, and unless we comment on it, they don't exist.
No, it might not be trolling, bro. He might have a serious point.
Huh?
No,
like he might be talking about.
Look what he said. He said Muslims shouldn't try to pander to people who hate us. Yes, I agree. We shouldn't try to pander to people. We don't pander. We're not pandering. Subhanallah. And he says Subhanallah.
That, man? Who is saying
so
that?
who's who? So it's Man's OJ.
Man's OJ.
Yeah, he says Muslims shouldn't try to pander. Okay, first of all, who says that we're pandering to people who hate us?
The subject was about Paul leaving Islam or being.
Yeah, we're not pandering. So you're speaking to some other people. So you might want to I don't know. SubhanAllah. But anyway,
unless he said that Paul was angry, Paul was refuting people, because I believe Paul did go to his stream in that he was talking. Like one time, that guy Bilal that just came to the park. I've seen Abdul Hakim and Solomon in the park many times, and I know what they're about. But Bilal came to the park, the white brother, and it was the first time I saw him, or first few times I saw him, and Paul must have said to him, "Don't hang around with these guys, they're thief and stuff." And he said, "I've got proof that I don't know Anjem Chowdhury supported ISIS." So Bilal must have asked him for proof. And then Paul was like, "Well, I've got proof, and if you don't believe me, then you're a thief," and so forth. So it's like, you may have intended good, but you have to show people proof of something. Not just say,
yeah. People in the chat. Look, Man's OJ. Look, if you didn't accuse us, that's fine. I thought you were accusing us, but
you don't have to accuse, bro. You can tell like what you're insinuating. You know what I mean?
If you're gonna leave a statement, make sure you're clear who you're giving it to or what the
because no one is
subject is, because we can take it out of fair context.
No one is pandering to the non-Muslims.
To the kuffar. Yeah, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that. You have to consider where we are, which country we live in, whatnot. Everything you have to consider it, man. And what I wanted to say as well, what I don't agree with is attacking the police officers at Speaker's Corner, man.
That's just dumb, though. That is just dumb.
It's not. There's no help in that.
Pigs, like, oh, he's racist. As soon as for example, what was it? Basically because he didn't arrest the other guy. He goes, oh, the guy goes, he's gonna take my head off. He's gonna take my head off. And then the police officer goes, where did he say that? He goes,
yeah, that's eccentric.
So he goes, I got it recorded. Then he goes, if you got it recorded, record that clip, take it to the police officer, and submit a proper complaint. Okay. Now then he goes, oh, you're racist. You didn't go and arrest him right now. What the hell? And calling
that's
him
just
pigs,
dumb, bro.
Calling him pigs and calling him this, that. Bro, if you make the police officers, one white police officer, if you act like that, he's gonna go home and think, you know what? These Tommy Robinson's right. These Muslims are animals. These Muslims are like this. Then he's gonna tell his other colleague, and this guy's gonna spread it like a disease to other people. So
see, this is that bit. You know, you talk about uniting with gang. Yeah, you see, gang do this a lot. In the park, they're always starting with the police officers playing the race thing, and then I think that's crossing over to the Muslims, and the Muslims are starting to do that as well. This is why sometimes, you know, you say unite with gang, you have to keep yourself a bit separate to keep your principles separate. Do you know what I mean?
No, look, we're gonna do the same thing that Jedi says he did. Jedi says, look, I'm not a Muslim. He doesn't even like Islam personally. I don't think he likes Islam. He doesn't mind it, but he doesn't like it. So we're gonna be the same way. We don't like some of the beliefs of gang, but we don't disagree with all of them. We don't. That's the thing. We have to work. We have our everything.
Yeah, I have to say, I've been clashing heads with gang a lot recently. I don't even know how it happened. It all happened. It was from when I couldn't. Well, I wasn't allowed to call Respect a kafir, and I said yes, I am, and then they just
don't worry about it. Let's not even go into
No. But look. Calling here's the thing. That's why I said when you speak to people, make sure you speak to them on a level where you can have a conversation. Because if I go in and just call, hey Respect, what's up? You were kafir, you know. What's we think he's gonna be? He's gonna be like, no, bruv, I don't hide the truth and false. I don't cover the truth, you know.
Yeah, they got their own little warped understanding. Yeah,
he doesn't understand that. I mean, no,
but do you know what exactly? The thing is, well, yeah, the word kafir, like if you called Respect to non-Muslim, yeah, he wouldn't have a problem with it. But he's got the interpretation that kafir means like you're as low.
Like the N-word. It's like the N-word.
South African derogatory term. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that like, look, we know that Respect is not a Muslim, yeah. He's not a Muslim, yeah, and he's a kafir. But the whole thing is that he's got this understanding of kafir meaning like if you say
a person who covers
that's
the
not non-Muslim, it means the same thing as kafir, but he wouldn't have this kind of thing. So we have to educate them. Look, it's not I think you're scum, yeah. It's just that there's certain things that make you a believer, yeah, and you don't have the things that make you a believer. So for example, if you say you believe in a prophet, yeah, but you don't believe you have to pray 5 times a day, then there's no like your belief of the prophet is invalid. You see what I'm saying?
Consensus, yeah.
If you believe that, you know, I'm saying like so basically basic things, but the whole thing is this with gang and so forth. Look, I understand what gangs are like, where they're coming from. They're like, look, we're on council estate here. Police are wrongfully stopping searching us 24/7. People. Black kids are dying, you know, in police stations and all this stuff. So they got a lot of built up.
Yeah, they got their reasons.
They got a lot, but what I'm trying to say is but the thing is that I saw them, yeah. The reality, and I'm not a chicken, I'm not a sellout. I'll say it to anyone's face. The reality of the situation is that you're not ready to go to war with you're not ready to go to war with the police, because the reality of the situation is you're gonna lose. That's the reality of the situation and so forth. And the whole thing is as well is that it's just you have to do with it like us as Muslims as well. But so we get arrested for stuff. It's not just like if a Muslim gets into a fight, it's not just a fight. It's a terrorism charge with it as well and so forth. So the Muslim,
there you go. know, bro, because when a Muslim does anything, it's like magnifying glass is on us.
Yeah.
What
When you're
happens
black,
is
it's magnified, but
Islam gets
when you're
magnified.
Muslim, it's turned into a terrorism thing as well.
There you
You see what
go.
I'm saying?
So
So,
my motto is, I'm not saying be submissive and all that. My thing is, this is the way I think now. End of the day, we live in a UK, in a non-Muslim country. Look at the benefits. Look at the freedom that we get. We don't get these in our own Muslim countries, even though we were born here. This is our own country and stuff. But you know what I mean. In our Muslim countries, I'm telling you, man. We, if it was like this, we all would have been there. And then
Yeah.
we live in the UK and stuff like this, and try to force our stuff on them in a horrible non-hikmah way. It's just not gonna. This is not the way, man. It's just not the way. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
there's a way of doing things, man. Like, you
That's why I
know,
always say, put yourself in their shoes, man. Think really hard about what they would feel about you, then speak. Because
that's what I'm saying. Like,
if you don't do that, you have no idea how to speak to the person. You're just gonna just say whatever you is on your mind, and they're gonna be like, they're gonna take it the way they always take it.
bro, you can win a
So
war. You can win a war, win a battle, win everything, yeah, without lifting a finger, just by your good behavior, man.
by your good behavior,
Just by your
exactly.
good behavior, you can accomplish everything. But you know what? All it takes a little bit of stubbornness and like act like you're the king, bro. You know why? When I see people like the huffing and puffing at Speaker's Corner, acting like this is like some Muslim country, and like we're the majority here and all that, I think to myself, you know, all this huffing and puffing, and I see your veins puffing out your neck. What if you have a brain aneurysm or a heart attack just right now? Right now, Allah takes you away. Why are you acting like a gangster, like some sort of king?
Yeah,
One little heart attack, you're in that grave, yeah? Forget the grave at the moment. Just imagine when the angel of death comes and takes your soul away. Now, what if you're not ready and he pulls your soul out? What face he's gonna come with, you don't know. Then you got the grave journey, man. You're gonna be in that grave, yeah, squeezed. You're gonna be in that grave for God knows
That
how
is so
long.
scary, man.
Bro, just imagine you're stuck in that grave, yeah. Just be quiet, everyone. Listen to this. Just imagine. Forget the grave squeezing you and stuff like that. Just imagine you're in your grave right now. Yeah. Picture yourselves. You're in your grave. All you can hear is everyone in the world. The world is going on day by day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you're stuck in that grave, tight, can't move, and you imagine that, bro. That is torture enough. That is
yeah.
torture enough. Then imagine how long you have to wait there till the day of judgment. We're going to be crying for the day of judgment.
These are complex topics, man. You should do another topic on that. Yeah,
I'll do that
the
tomorrow.
mindset of the mindset of a Muslim when you're thinking about
Listen,
when you're
let me
thinking.
quickly say this,
Yeah,
guys. Let me say this, guys. Yeah, just imagine that you're in the grave. Yeah,
Mute your mic, Aki.
waiting for the day of judgment. Then when the day of judgment comes, yeah, apparently the hell, you know, the people of the hellfire or whatever, they're going to be crying for the next stage. They're going to be crying for the next stage. Then you go to the hellfire. Oh my god. So I'm telling you, man, when I see people acting gangster and like the king, oh, don't act like, don't be submissive. I'm not talking about that brother in the comment section now. I'm just generally saying, don't be submissive and this and that. Who's saying submissive, man? If you want to win a battle or get Islam to win, you can do it in a hikmah way, man. And forcing, showing your muscles, and it's not gonna work. It's gonna have the opposite effect. That's why I say, bro, imagine at that time when you're like flexing your muscles and stuff like that, you have a heart attack, and you'll go, what? How the hell you gonna face Allah, man? The grave journey, the, your soul, when your soul goes out of your heart, and the grave journey, and then the day of judgment, man. Subhanallah.
Yeah,
No,
man.
I'm not sleeping. No, I'm not sleeping tonight. Now, all right?
Okay.
It's gonna be
I'm
hard for
gonna
me to
head
sleep.
out anyway,
But
man.
make
But
sure when you do
Jazakallah khair
sleep,
for the reminder, Said. Brothers, love you all for the sake of Allah, inshallah. Take care, and may Allah give you the good of this life and the good of the next. Make dua for me to Allah.
yeah,
And then,
Assalamu alaikum wa
you know,
rahmatullah.
touching
so
Jahannam, please.
Yeah, salam alaikum.
so brothers in the chat. So brothers in the chat. I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm not trying to scare you guys. Everyone who's up, make sure you pray Fajr, man. That's number one. Yeah, it's not that far away. Fajr, do wudu. If there's a masjid next to you, go to the masjid. This is my
Yeah.
advice, because guys, I'm telling you right now, yeah, forget everything else. Forget Speaker's Corner. Forget um acting like I'm a gangster and Islam will dominate and all that sort of thing. We know the truth, yeah. Others don't know the truth. We know the truth. The grave journey alone, when the angel of death comes with so many faces or whatever face is going to come to take your soul, that is enough for us to think about it. You know, that's why Prophet
Yeah, there's no
ﷺ
room
said,
to get arrogant.
destroyers of pleasures is what? Think about your thinking. So you know what I do? When people tell me, Said, why are you so calm for? Why are you so relaxed for? Why are you letting that man walk all over you? Do you know what I think at that time? I think to myself, if I'm like huffing and puffing, losing my rag, and I have a heart attack, wallahi, I'm not ready to go now to face my Lord, because I sin every day. I'm a disgrace to my religion because I sin so much. I'm not ready. I'm making prayers to Allah. Oh Allah, please, before you take me in a good way. Do not take me from this world in an embarrassing way, in a toilet, or exposed in such a stupid way that when my family finds me embarrassed. You understand? So that's why I pray to Allah. Allah, please don't let me go from this world in a way that my family is don't get embarrassed in a imagine dying in a sujood or something like that, or in a sleep, but not in an exposed way. So guys, before you guys lose your temper and act like gangster and like act like a king and oh, Islam will dominate and calling the police pigs and this and that, we know, you know the truth, yeah. You know what Islam is, yeah. And being a Muslim and acting like that and thinking like, you know what, you're never gonna die. Just think about the grave, man. Just think about the day of judgment. What's gonna happen when your soul gets ripped out of your soul, out of your body, and then the grave journey. Subhanallah, man. Just think about that grave journey,
And
man.
that's all before hellfire. So
And
subhanallah.
then what will happen?
The worst punishment.
Then,
Yeah.
man, when we're gonna be crying for the day of judgment and the day of judgment. So I've been to Arafah, yeah. I've been to Arafah, and do you know what happened? I mean, on Hajj, during Hajj, I went to Arafah, and I was thinking about a day of judgment so much, and the sun was so hot, yeah. I got delirious, and what
Yeah.
happened was, yeah, in my visions, I was having visions, bro. I was in this hot sun. I was having visions. I was seeing the sky breaking open, and I thought day of judgment started. And I'm thinking in my head, I need to get some water ready and hide some water somewhere because I know we're gonna need water that day. Do you understand? Stupidness like
Yeah.
that. And I couldn't sleep.
Subhanallah. Yeah.
At that day of wallahi, bruv, in Arafah, I was thinking that can I hide some water in some rock? Maybe in the day of judgment, I'm gonna find some water and stuff like that. I got delirious, man. I got panic attack. So I'm telling you, everyone, man, acting. That's why I don't act gangster. I don't act like oh this and that. It's nothing to do with being submissive, man. If I'm acting submissive, I'm acting submissive to my Lord, my Allah, because I know one click of a finger, I'm gone. I'm gone. And you know what? I'm not ready to go, man. I'm telling you
Yeah.
now, I am not ready to face my Lord because if I close my eyes tomorrow, how many of you brothers are ready to pass away tomorrow? Are you 100% sure?
Yeah.
None of
Are you
us, bro.
100% sure
None
that
of
you
None
us,
of
can?
us.
man.
Not one of us. So subhanallah, guys, please, before you guys accuse me of being soft, I don't care, man. I'm soft. I'm a pussy. Whatever, man. I don't give a shit. You know, whatever you think. Because you know why I think like this? This Hajj taught me one thing: is patience and constantly thinking about death. Because some people need that scary one, and I'm one of those one, bro. I'm one of those ones that I need the scary because that gets my iman going. Not some
Yeah.
people talk about Jannah and it gets them going. Some people need the other effect. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran he describes the hellfire in such a detailed way. Why? Because he knows his creation, man. Some people are in one way, inclined to one way and others other
Some
way.
people are inclined to fear. Some people are inclined
There
to
you go.
reward.
So
Some
that's
people
why I
are inclined
say
to intellect. Yeah.
before you guys like go to speaker's corner and see people acting like this way, that way, just for a second, think about the grave, man, and then see how it brings you back to earth. How it brings you back to earth. When you are
Yeah.
giving your deeds away, when you are oppressing another Muslim with your tongue, yeah. When you like the bruv, give oppressing a Muslim by your tongue, yeah, you can do it online with your fingers as well. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. So don't give away your deeds, guys. Why is it so easy for us to give away our good deeds? You know, and just imagine your grave. Just think about your grave. That's all I'm gonna say, guys. I don't want to scare you guys, but the grave, man. If
Nah,
I don't
that's a
know,
good message,
I
man.
don't
Yeah.
understand why people can't when they lose their temper. Why can't they think about the grave?
Yeah, ikhwa, the non-Muslims, they don't think about this like we do. We have the knowledge, and alhamdulillah, Allah blessed us with this religion. So we should know better than to react the way they react. When you see them on these YouTube videos getting arrogant or angry or acting in a way which is not pleasing to Allah, then we know that they are ignorant of the situation. They're not aware of the warning. But we are, alhamdulillah. So we should act upon it instead of being like them. And another thing in the chats, the guy said man's OJ or whatever. He said I only made a couple statements, bro. Whatever, we're not gonna judge you on the
No, I'm not
statements. We're just
judging that,
speaking
bro.
generally. We're not judging you. We're just speaking in general. And thank you. He said, may Allah bless Sayyid for his praises. Yeah, but we're not judging you, Akhi. We were just saying in general, people need to have hikmah and know and think, have excuses for us when people speak in speaker's corner or Sayyid speaks or somebody speaks. Have excuses for them. Don't just think automatically that they're being soft or they're obviously acting like that for a certain reason, for a certain hikmah reason. So just give them excuses and then ask them later why they behave that way.
You know what,
Like say,
guys?
why did
Guys,
you know?
I'm gonna play this video. Listen to this video quickly, yeah? I'm sure it's
Yeah.
this one. Well, listen to this.
As soon as you enter your grave, the grave will squeeze you. That squeeze could be a welcome back home hug, or it could be a squeeze that will break every bone in your body. But it will squeeze you. The grave is dark, very dark, and you are afraid.
Brother, sorry, I'm going to be off, yeah? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good chat, man.
The two ugliest
Wa alaikum
creations
salam,
of
akhi,
Allah, called Munkar and Nakir, they will walk into your grave. They will sit you up. These angels, Allah had created in a very frightening form. They will sit you up and they will ask you questions. When they sit you up, I want you to feel your heart racing.
Yeah, Fajr, I know. Just watch
because
this.
you will be terrified. And with their voices like thunder and their eyes like lightning, they will ask you, who is your Lord? Who did you submit to?
I'm gonna head to bed.
Okay, bro.
The mu'min will say, my Lord is Allah. They will ask, what is your way of life? The mu'min will say, my way of life is Islam, is submission to Allah. And what do you say about the man that was sent to you? You will say, he is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And they will say, sadaqt. You have said the truth. And they will order the grave to widen. And this grave will turn into a garden of paradise. And you will chill. On the other side, may Allah protect us. They will sit you up. And they will ask the same questions. The person will not be able to answer. They will say, I don't know. What's your way of life? I don't know. And the angel will say, kadhabt, you have lied. And the grave will squeeze and tighten, become narrower and darker, till every bone in your body breaks. And they will order the grave to become a pit of hellfire. And the grave will start burning till the day of judgment.
So guys, yeah, this is a quick one, yeah. Obviously, I played. Inshallah tomorrow, yeah, I'll get some videos together and get some brothers, and we'll talk about this. I think we need to talk about this because too many people are getting too hyped, thinking there's some sort of like gonna live forever, some sort of gangster, and I'm king in this and that, you know. So I think we need to come back down to earth, myself included. So I think I need this.
Yeah.
We need all this together. So inshallah, tomorrow join us around 10 o'clock. Inshallah, if I have no problems, no tech issues, anything like that, family problems, we'll do this one. If I can't do it tomorrow, then the following day. But my next show is gonna be the Islamic grave journey. And so if any brothers wants to join me, email me, do some research, so you can bring your points to the table, and we can have a roundtable discussion on the grave journey and how we should behave, man, because this will definitely bring us down to earth. Wallahi, it will.
Yeah, and remember, guys, we've been given the warning. The non-Muslims are not our teachers. Okay, we're supposed to be helping them come to this warning. So we've been given the warning, and we're not acting upon it. What does that say about us? You know?
Yeah. Anyway, let's go,
So,
bro, because of Fajr time as well.
yeah, alhamdulillah.
So
Okay.
everyone, please pray Fajr tonight, especially, and make dua for Allah to increase me in my iman, and everyone else, please. That's my request to you guys. And brothers, assalamu alaikum, everyone. May
Yeah,
Allah,
wa alaikum
may
salam.
Allah grant you Jannah and save us from the torment of the grave, man. Make
Ameen, ameen.
biggest one. So assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Yeah.
Hold on, bro. I'm just ending the stream first.